property was sold for taxes, and they own it. You call down there and they'll make you an offer to buy it. Generally, what their offer is gonna be is they're gonna look and they're gonna say, okay, it's valued on these tax rolls at $30,000. We'll take 15. They'll take half. But if you find some parcel of property that you think might be useful to the county, they will give it to us. They will simply give it to us. So,
You make a request, we've had that to happen.
Will they do that to the municipalities too?
they will. I've done it.
I called down there about a year ago for a piece of property, and they wanted like $750 for it. It was half of what they had it on the books for. And
I think they'll go down from
they
that.
come down to 250.
You know, depending on how long they've had it, they'll come down from that.
They're not making any money off it, it's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
But it's
So,
better for us to get it back on the tax roll.
better to get it back on the
Now,
tax
when
roll.
it's sold to the state don't actually give us any money.
No, the state
It's
doesn't
just-
give us any money, so
It's
it's
just
just
passed,
really, we don't
it's called
collect
sold to the
that.
state, but it's passed on to the state.
That's right.
So everybody loses on that end.
That's right.
You can have a list of all properties that owned by the state.
I can pull it up on my computer.
You can go on the website.
You can look on their website and
County.
see everything in Sunflower County that is owned by the state.
It's all about the state, okay.
Sometimes a mortgage company or a bank or whatever get tired of paying taxes on it, they'll let it get, they'll just let it get sold and pay on it. Whoever buying it, the tax sale don't think it's worth them putting their money into it, goes to the state. That's much to. How would you word this, John?
Board tax.
Board's
sales on
tax sale
properties
of two
previously
properties.
sold to the
So
state.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. While we're waiting on the road manager, Mr. McIntosh told us to ask us to remove number 13. Up next, Mr. Kenny Roberts with South Machinery.
My name's Kenny Roberts. I am with Mid-South. Thank y'all for allowing us to come. This is Brian Hall. He's with Lee Boy. I'm going to hand out some cards as I speak. I mentioned this several weeks back. I talked to Mr. Donald about equipment, a paver, and a roller. And as I said, Ron Hall represents Lee Boy, and we're going to do this a little short presentation to give y'all some information on the paver, on the pothole patch, and on the roller. Mr. Donald mentioned to me after that y'all had a need for a paver. We had talked to you also about a pothole patch. We have some already sold in the state. Of it, and we'll go from there.
Keep talking, Ken.
I don't have much, so I figure if we cut the light off, maybe we'd see it better. Or if you'd like rather get a
No,
straight,
go
that'd be
ahead, go
fine.
ahead. We had one, go ahead.
Let's see how it comes through.
What you said there?
Downstairs.
All right, you can see it down halfway.
Yeah, you can see a little bit there. And what I've got, guys, for having us this morning. We see you got a full schedule, but what they asked us to do was to come in and present a few products to you based on your road needs. At Lee Boy, we are manufacturers of road machinery, asphalt pavers, graders, rollers, brooms, pothole patchers, and other maintenance items. So I want to talk to you just our products today, and then kind of introduce you to. And rather than me sitting here boring everybody with a bunch of specifications, I thought maybe videos would do a lot better and maybe get a lot more out of some videos that we've had. So what first product I want to introduce to you is our couple of our pavers, 8500 and our 8515 paver. There's a few differences in the two. These are both very popular with counties, municipalities, cities, and also the states. The 8500, which is on the top, it's been the mainstay of the commercial paving industry for about 20 years. Now, keep in mind, these are much smaller pavers than what you would see on interstates or even Highway 82 that runs through your county here. These parking lots for alleyways for your county roads. These are the pavers that you're looking for. Well, let's look at the differences between those two units. The 8515. A couple differences. And what we did was we were selling quite a few of the 8500s, but they were wearing out in a couple years. And we were saying, well, how many tons of asphalt are you putting through these pavers? What are you doing? Well, they were putting quite a few 1,000 tons of asphalt through them. So what we did is we just bulked it up. So these are just basically the same paver with a few basic differences. Everything's been beefed up. At the top, you see the 8515 paver. It's got radius hopper wings, takes a little bit more beating and banging. The bottom, you see, is just squared beating and banging with the top unit. The part that we call the main augers of the paver. What happens in a lot of cases, as you can see in this picture right here, if you can see that auger back will wear a hole. You get a hole ran through there. With the 8515 machine, you're able to replace that auger back piece in the back to where you won't have to repair that as often. That's just a function of how much asphalt you're putting through the machine. Okay. Also, a couple vibrators and a citrus tank comes standard with this machine. And what that is when you're spraying down your machine to keep the asphalt from sticking, you have a separate tank so you don't have to spray diesel fuel down on the machine. You can use what we call an approved release agent. So it's a little bit more environmentally friendly. And you also, on your 8515, you get electronic steering rather than cable type steering. Okay. And what I'd like to do is just show you a quick video here of unfortunately I can't get there. We go. And you can see what's happening. We were paving on this day behind a freight yard where trucks pull in. It was just a nice open spot for paving. You're actually pushing the truck with this. You can kind of get an idea of what's happening with that machine. Now, the best thing about this machine, of course, is that it's very, very easy to learn how to use for your crews. And the very best thing is our local dealerships that we have here in Mississippi. Keep all your parts in service. If they need, you need to call on these guys to come out and repair or bring parts. They are right here, and they've sold quite a few of these machines in Mississippi. Also, when you decide that you would like to purchase one of these Leeboy machines, we're also out with your crew when we deliver the machine so that they understand the machine before.
We will come out and stay with you. Representative from Leeboy and from Mid-South Machinery will stay with you until your crew is comfortable with the machine, paving's in action. Y'all are probably familiar with it. LaFleur County has an 8500 Leeboy, and Tallahatchie County has an 8500 Leeboy. So I think y'all probably are familiar with them. I was under the impression that LaFleur County may have done a little paving for y'all. I don't know if that's the case or not.
They did it for the college.
Okay.
Morehead Community College.
Okay.
Was it Morehead Community College? Mississippi Delta Community College.
Okay.
It used to be Morehead.
Come on now, you're not showing your age, are you? But that's how our pavers work. Don't want to go into a lot of specifications. We'll leave that to the engineers and things like that. But basically, we wanted to show you about our machines. We are build more commercial size asphalt pavers than anybody else in the U.S. we're based in North Carolina. I'm based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and of course we have dealers all over where Mr. Kenny works. And
I live in Yazoo City. Work for Mid-South. We got stores in Tupelo, Jackson, and Gulfport. But I live in Yazoo City.
And they've been our dealer for quite some time. So they're service departments. They've got service trucks that are able to be dispatched up here, quite frequently.
I mean, man,
This machine, run the machine itself. On a paving crew, you'll typically have 5 or 6. The machine itself it's a minimum of 2 men. The screed, as we call it, the back.
you hook it to a tractor or what?
Oh no, sir! It's got a 74 horsepower diesel engine on it. Yes, sir. And it's
self-contained unit.
everything is self-contained. All you have to have is the truck itself. So
Pretty much just like our chipper spreader.
yeah, exactly.
It does the same thing. You hook to the truck. Amount of men you use on a chipper when you're doing DBST, the same amount of men you use on this. You're just laying hot mix instead of putting tar and gravel.
That's exactly right. And it's all again, it's all self-contained, and you just need an asphalt roller behind this. And we'd be glad to. I teach paving schools at trade shows all over the country, and we'd be glad to assist your guys in the basic principles of asphalt paving as well. So that's really what we do. That's our business, is asphalt paving.
How wide is it?
It's an 8-foot main screed up to, and it's extendable to 15 foot, because you got on each side you got 3.5 foot of extensions. We're not going to pave as wide as 15 feet, just because you have to go so slow to get that material out there. But you do have that. What you have is the ability to pave shoulders. If you want to go 3.5 feet out one side, you can pave that shoulder as well. I would probably, again, like Kenny said, most of the counties surrounding you have the 8500 size machine, and I believe for your scope of work that would probably be an ideal machine. But we can certainly sit down with your engineers and public works departments and fit you into the size machine that you like, because we've got everything from a small gravity fed machine on up to haul you guys into which machine. And of course, if we need to, we can take you to either their showroom down in Jackson or other counties to hands on these machines before you accept specifications. Okay, the next product I've got real quick is a let's see, right ahead is a broom, a self-contained broom. That Mr. Kenny was saying that you may be interested in as well. We've also got specification sheets that we can leave with you guys today too, so you can talk about these in a little bit more in depth. Now, I've got a video that I'd like to show you here of the broom. Now, this was on a chip sealing job, and you can see right here the Georgia DOT put a little bit of the chip seal on their yard. This is a 14 pounds per square yard chip seal that we were doing, and it swept it clean. So it's certainly a nice machine to have on your facility for cleaning up after maybe dirt projects or getting the surface ready for asphalt paving as well. I like the front mount machine because it's rear steer. The operator can see what he's doing in front of him, and he can basically turn it around in a 3-foot radius. So really not a lot. I don't want to bore you with specifications, but kind of show you what. Now, the last product I want to show you this morning is our RA400 pothole patcher. This has been a really popular here in Mississippi, but nationwide as well, with the of maintenance on our roads. We have potholes. Our roads are crumbling across the country. We sold one of these search to see how many potholes are in the city of Jackson. In the last 18 months, we've sold County down south, Kemper County, what was Jasper County.
Right.
I didn't miss anybody, I don't think, did I?
That's in the last year or so.
Last year and a half, probably, we've sold these machines. Now, what this machine is a self-contained spray injection pothole patching machine. I've got a video that I'll show you that we made at the City of Jackson, but in a nutshell, what you see in the back, in the rear of the machine, is a rock hopper. It holds 5 yards of jagged aggregate. In the 300-gallon emulsion tank. What they do is, under air pressure, we convey these materials to the front boom, and they're mixed as they come out of the nozzle of the boom, creating, you had mentioned chip sealing, it's creating a chip seal is what it's doing into the hole. This is a permanent pothole patch. There are highway reports that that indicate that spray injection pothole patching, not our machine, but the process itself, is the best process for a permanent patch. And they consider a permanent patch anything that lasts over 5 years. You guys probably know if you patch with either cold patch or even hot mix, it's as good as the next set of traffic that comes across it. Okay, this is totally different than that because it is a permanent patch. I want to show you this video.
Let me say this
Go ahead.
also, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best things about this is the safety factor. This is a one-man run operation. Most counties and cities that do this, they have one man they put in that truck and they say, okay, you're in charge of the maintenance on this vehicle. You're the one that's going to be operating it. This is your job. It's done by one man, got an air board on the back. He's inside a closed, air-conditioned environment, spraying, nobody out there with flag men and all that. From a safety issue, also, the amount of potholes that you can patch in a day's time, they say up to 200. That's all. That may be unrealistic, but you certainly can patch 100 potholes a day.
Depends on how close they are to each other, how
Right.
far you have to go to the next one.
But a safety issue is a big deal. A one-man operation, and he can do it every day.
Quite frankly, it's the best job in the county. On a day like today, it's going to be 95 degrees, 90% humidity. He's in an air-conditioned cab. He can bring his lunch with him. Nobody bothers him. He listens to the radio. People love to see him come because he's fixing the roads. So, and that's the key. What Kenny said was the key. You have one man running this truck, and he takes ownership. In fact, in Lamar County, he's a race car driver. It's his machine, and he's proud of it. And he knows that if there's a problem with that machine, there's nobody else to blame but him. He has to get it fixed. So I want to show you a little video here. This is a video that I made up after we sold the unit to the City of Jackson. Again, it's a 4-step process, which we'll show here. You can see it's a 1-lane operation. The man is in the cab. He's running it kind of like a video game with a joystick. He's controlling the boom out front, which you'll see in the next part of the video. See the boom out front. He is patching the pothole, and the mixture comes at the end of the process. So there's no material that's left over that you have to do something with. If they're at the end of the day, all you do is come and plug it back in to keep the asphalt hot, and you're ready to go again the next day. You're not mixing material up as you would with other pothole solutions. You load your hopper with a front end loader right here. Again, it holds 5 yards of material. 4-step process. First step, you blow out the hole of any trash. Second step, cover the hole with emulsion to seal everything out. He's mixing the emulsion and the rock. And the last step, he puts a coat of rock on the top. Single
drive
line
across,
operation.
and you can
Yep.
drive across it right
Yeah,
there.
you're ready for traffic right there. Okay, you can see single lane operation. You can do it in traffic. Okay, automatic boom storage when he's done for the day, or if he has to go quite a little ways to the next pothole. Clean out. You're cleaning everything out with diesel fuel, but you're keeping everything on board, so there's no environmental issues. Again, with our pavers, we'll come out here and teach you how to use it. Okay, we don't leave back after you're done, or after you've used it for a few weeks to make sure everything's good. Okay. Guys, that's all I have. I didn't want to take up a lot of your time with, a lot of boring specifications, but we did want to present these. Does anybody have any questions for us?
What's the ballpark figure on cost?
Which one are you looking at?
Hey,
Any of them?
On the 8500, in the neighborhood of 130. On the 8515, in the neighborhood
Yes,
of 150. Pothole patcher somewhere around 210, 215, and the broom is around 55 to 60.
what about the roller? Cause you don't get a pavement.
An asphalt roller?
Yeah.
You're probably looking in the on a roller. And also, just so you know,
What about the broom?
broom
55, 60,
55.
55 to 60, yes.
We are also on, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the NJPA contract, collective buying contract. That's a nationwide contract. We're members of that a lot of counties have taken advantage of. It's a cooperative buying program.
What's the name of it?
NJPA, National Joint Powers Alliance. It's
Give me that, man.
NJPA, and their website's NJPA. Their website is njpacoop.org, COOP.org. We've sold quite a few. It's very similar to a GSA contract. It has been bid, so the bidding process has already been done. Bid, and we won the bid. We sell quite a few machines. A lot of manufacturers are a part of this. Caterpillar, John Deere, Case. A lot of manufacturers are part of this and sell quite a few on it. So it's
You call
a
that contract?
NJPA.
Yeah, you say what you call that contract buying.
It's a contract, same as you buy on a Mississippi State contract. It's contract purchasing. And it explains it even in a state-by-state statute on that website that I gave you.
We've never done that, and it's interesting, and it's a good possibility.
It
for us
is
to
a
do something.
great,
Hospitals have done it. I know North Hospital is in one, but I don't know the process of how we get.
now,
into
and
it.
also school districts buy a lot on there because not only is heavy equipment on there, but you've got office supplies. Staples is a part of the contract. All you have to do, it's a 2-minute process to sign up your county. They'll ask you a lot of questions about your county, and it's free. You become a member in 24 hours, and then we give you, if you call us up and say, Mr. Kenny, I'd like a NJPA quote on the pothole patcher. I give you is a quote that shows the list price, the NJPA discount, the amount for freight, and that is a set amount. It's not an estimated amount for freight. That's you know what your final cost is based on the quote that I give you, and along with lead times as well. So, and it's like I said, you could read more about the statutes and everything on their website, but it's a bid contract. You may be familiar. A lot of them are the same kind of things.
Also, if you as a board are interested in any of this and need bid specs in order to do it, I gave y'all a card. If you'll contact me, I'll get you specs on everything or whatever you need specs on. And we look forward to working.
And we can sit down with your road department and go over these specs and find out what's appropriate for you guys. And then in that case, we can hand you a set of specs that are generalized that you can go ahead and publish. Logos or our names or anything on there, we can get and publish. So, well, it's an honor to be in front of you guys this morning. Call us with anything that you need. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all for your time.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
I need some money.
I need, no, when you said call, it'd be anything I need. All right.
Me and you both. It sounds like we're in the same boat.
Okay, then, let's go. Let me
Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Not, this not being,
But we're gonna discuss it when Ron and the road managers come up there with the board. It's good that they made the presentation right before y'all, because Ron has talked to us about this before. The beneficial, how it benefit us concerning our state aid money. When we don't have money, having to wait for 2 or 3 more years like I've done. Mr. Rice, that road been up for a long time, we can't do it. Yeah. So y'all guys come on, we can further this discussion. And y'all tell me. So we won't lose grip on what fresh on our mind, what it says. Let's talk about this first, y'all don't mind. So we won't lose grip on it. While we're in, if not saying that we have to or going to, but if we were gonna do something, this would be the time we're gonna make the decision on ballpark figures before we do the bond to borrow some money. We got a sweeper, we don't need a sweeper. Pothole patcher, we really don't need anything like that, but that pavement and that, I mean, that's what I think, somebody else might think we need it, patch. But that pavement goes it out, one with 2 iron wheels on it. Ron, explain to us what you said one time, the in-between jobs, when we have to wait all these years.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it comes to state aid roads, those are y'all's roads to maintain. You can use state aid money to maintain them, but with the way we're having to stretch money now, and what y'all do now, I think, is basically just put hot mix down and use a grader.
Yes.
Right. So,
Which don't work.
right, which gives a very rutting and potholes. But with a paver, you can go in and basically level it just like a contractor does. You just basically, you put them in there. So, and there are other counties that do have the pavers and they use them in the interim to keep the roads in good shape.
Aid money for repair of state aid roads to purchase this machine?
There's a possibility, Dennis. There's it's called like but you still have to go through the whole process. But what I can do is tell you what that process is. And since I deal with Sunflower County and I dealt with Tallahatchie County, neither one of those counties has ever done it because they didn't have the capability. Actually, Tallahatchie County had a payer, but they didn't utilize that possibility. There's but let me tell you exactly how that works. But I think there is some way to do it, and it's done. But I gotta find out about it. Because
You would have to wait on that money just like you're waiting on it to
right,
do
it's
a
the
road.
same thing. Right. It's the same thing, and it's not as easy as y'all going out and doing it and then getting reimbursed. But there's a way to do it. I might be speaking off but I think there might be a way to do it. The exact process.
Let me 3 roads, Heisman Road, Airport Road, there, the problem we've had with it, and Moorhead Belzoni Road. Moorhead Belzoni Road, what's the road Mr. Donahoe took the money off and put it on the bridge?
Lynn.
Lynn Belzoni, that's the road that go past the college, go all the way back down to Macon. This road you done, this is 2016. That road came up in 2014, right, or 13?
Ended in 2000, I want to say 14.
2014.
And those 2 bridges basically
Took all the money.
sucked out. We had like
Well,
$70,000 left.
When we said we programmed, mean that those roads needed fixing right there. They got, from the big short traffic, they got water I call them slides, and they're that deep when it rains, the water pockets get in there. We've had cars to flip on. Sheriff know what I'm talking about. He said they went out there investigating it. Remember, Kirby, the car went up in that field. Well, I mean, you for half a mile long, you just got this big trench in the road. Well, with something like this, and it's still, we don't know we'll get the money yet this year. That's been 2 years.
Yeah.
With something like this, we could have went in and filled that trench up and leveled it off, and made that road maintain until we able to get the money to do it. Or maybe could have, if the other sides, the base was good enough, could have did that and left that road alone and went to a road that needed it worse than that. You know, with you know, we could have done that with our money instead of putting tar and gravel in it for the next rain to come out or whatever, chip up. That's why I see the importance, you know. But and that's what we talked about last time around about.
A lot easier to do the leveling and that rutty, it gets the ruts and then holds the water and causes the hydrant running off. But yeah, from a safety standpoint. So yeah, I mean it's an extremely useful piece of equipment. But you still have to buy the asphalt to put it down. You know, asphalt's expensive. But y'all are buying asphalt now and not getting a good product.
Turn on our investment.
Right.
Because it's,
Product. I mean, it's not a good smooth.
yeah, you won't have the proper equipment for the asphalt.
Right.
It'll be that much more, less tar and gravel you'll be buying also. Because you're buying all this tar and gravel to patch it, and you wouldn't have to do that thing, you know. I'll tell you what, a good example, when TJ was here, we did Eastman Road. And we put that, dumped that asphalt on that road and took a box spreader, spread it out, and took the grader and bent it out and rolled over in about a month. That was the roughest road you want to ride, because you can never get it level, you know. It's just, and then where it thins out at, that ends up crumbling and just make a rough surface for you to ride on. It was a waste of money.
So, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and that's still get a much rougher finished product.
Tyler and I, we talked about it last week, and like I said, several places, I know that I have the roads that, Lynn mentioned, and then a couple other roads, that Ford Road and Denver District. I think that would be an ideal place, you know, if we were able to do it, you know, where we could go in and it's that type, pits and stuff, that we could level it off and then put that asphalt. I know that would, would be a permanent repair. I mean, it's just a section of road, it's not a whole road. It'd be great, like I said, if we could do it. I mean, it's a great piece of equipment. I've seen it used different counties and stuff, like I said, and there's some money behind it. And it's something that we can definitely use.
Now, I will say a lot of counties use it to like pave county roads. For the Delta, because our county roads are, as soon as a piece of farm equipment gets on it, putting that 1.5 to 2 inches of asphalt on there is going to still fall apart as soon as a heavy truck gets on it. Because
No base.
there's no base under it, and then the type of soils we have around here, it's just,
I tell you what,
So you recommend from just the state aid road, not the county road? Is that what
well,
you're
your
saying?
existing paved roads that are in good shape, using this as a maintenance item, where you start having the potholes and the rutting, and that's one of the main problems. Is what Glenn's talking about. That's a safety issue when you get those ruts in there, and y'all can basically take that thing and use a little bit of asphalt, but kind of dragging the street, which fills in those ruts, that keeps from staining the water. You can use it to pave your county roads, and there are county roads that are paved. These are the guys. Most of them are as rough. It's just, and the paver would put it down smooth to begin with, and once they put it down, it'd be nice and smooth. But as soon as trucks got on there and rain, it's gonna start moving. So don't think of it as a magic wand where it'll it'll hold up.
So do we have enough roads to justify the cost? I guess is what I'm saying.
You got enough state aid roads, and again, what we've done in the past is you get roughly that 3 million every board term, and we go through and do base level and reseal of the road, which is basically going to dig out the major potholes, put asphalt in those, then we level, come in with about an inch leveling course, and we level all the really rough spots, and then we do a reseal. The problem is, and y'all heard about it all last year with the legislature trying to get more money for maintenance. In '87 we built roads. We hadn't built a road since Baird Road down there, and that was 8 years ago.
Was Dodd or Baird the last one?
I think it was Baird, but yeah, Dodd was right before that, so it's probably 8 or 10 years ago that we built any roads. And then we run out of money every board term, just trying to maintain what we've got. So it's putting more pressure on the county for y'all to use your money to get out there and maintain these things until you can use your state aid. So, this time the plans are to use all of that money for maintenance on the roads. The only bridge we've got is kind of a critical bridge. It's on a state aid road. Is the one Sunflower Itabena that goes out towards. But I ran the numbers on that because I was going to recommend we kind of move some of the money to do it. But it's a state aid road. It's still going to be about $700,000. You use $700,000, you $3 million. You got less for that. So I ran the calculations, and if we have to close that bridge, we can put in dual tank cars and keep it open for them. So I'm gonna say we don't do that. We use all your $3 million, which is what I kind of presented to you, to do the maintenance this time. But again, I mean, y'all got it. Some new money's got to come in from somewhere, and I think the state, everybody in the state knows, business owners know, everybody knows. Our legislator did nothing last year. We just kind of kicked the can down the road. But, so it's throwing it into y'all's lap. I don't think I'm answering your question. I got off on a political thing, but it's something y'all need too. I mean, it's as an engineer, when I look at how much money you got and we try to stretch it, it's just it's not enough. So it is putting the pressure on y'all to do something like this. And is that paver a useful piece of equipment? It's an extremely useful piece of equipment. Since he's asking me, I just want to make sure y'all know it's not a magic wand on your county roads that you're having problems with. Now, like Bland Road down there, which y'all kind of redone. Now it's holding up, but it will eventually start to fall apart again. Now this would have been nice to have when you paved it. Y'all DBST'd that, right? And that's what I'd still recommend on the county roads. But in maintaining, I'm going to go back to what y'all asked me, since I went on a rabbit trail, but in maintaining your state aid roads between times when you can get it for the leveling portions of it. So.
We'll discuss it later on.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, for me, I had several things. All right, one thing is Eastmore subdivision is ready to advertise, and we've already met with Kirby on what the county's portion of that is. We want to advertise. What are you thinking about?
Well, I mean, we ain't got the money.
Right. That's all you. Yeah. If we advertise now, Johnny, it's still gonna be 60 to 90 days before the contract starts. By the time the bonds and everything, and then by the time they start work, so you're actually probably in the next budget year.
Well, that's.
We're what? We're July now.
Well, what I'm wanting to know, because we got millage on it, and we actually live in taxes for it.
Right.
We got about half of it.
Okay.
And we were gonna borrow what we thought was the difference and hope that we wouldn't have to pay out anything until January or February. We have the other half. think when will we
We
start
can't
paying
push,
out?
we cannot push this out. This, from a CDBG standpoint, it's an ASAP thing. If we advertise Thursday, this Thursday, and next Thursday, 21st and 28th, which is what I wanted. And, we'll have to open after August 18th, which would be the 19th. Now, this month has 5 Mondays in it, so y'all's next board meeting is not until the 5th of September, which is Labor Day.
5th of August.
No,
What month?
September.
August?
September.
The month of.
See, we won't open until
You said
September.
this month got one.
This month's got 5 Mondays, so y'all only meet twice, so it's from the time we can advertise, the time we can open up, it's another 1, 2, 2.5 weeks before y'all can meet. So I really wanna try to open sometime the end of August. I know. But so what happens then? July 21st and the 28th, and then you have to wait 15 days before you open. So the 15th day is August 18th. So we can open after August 18th. So we could open on that Friday the 19th. And my comment about the 5 Mondays, what that means is the week of the 22nd and the 29th of August, y'all aren't meeting. Your next meeting would be September 5th, which is a holiday, which is Labor Day, so you're probably gonna meet on that Tuesday. So what I would like to do is open sometime the week of the 22nd of August to keep that delay of 2.5 weeks, because this is critical.
Well, we met, when you got a couple of weeks, we just reset to the next Monday.
Okay. Set me a bid date sometime after the 19th of August. That could be, the 22nd is that Monday. And that would be to open these bids. I just, y'all can tell me to wait until that first meeting in September, but that's just, this time of year.
Yeah, you could do it on the 22nd. I think that would be the better thing to do.
Okay.
You have your third
So
Monday meeting, recess to the next one, just for that.
Okay, so listen, can we do that then? You're giving me authority, that's what it is,
We
so advertise.
Get back this year, but
Okay.
he has no objection, but I think that would be the thing to do. Now
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna talk to- Now let's talk about money. though.
Okay.
That was
No, I
like
know.
office.
I know.
We're gonna advertise, we're
Alright.
gonna take the bid, say on the 22nd, and say it's a good bid and everything's great, and we're gonna take it. It's
Alright,
gonna take you a couple of weeks to get bonds and all that.
Right, that's what so I'm gonna walk it through now. Okay, so open on the 22nd, sending the notice of award to the contractor. More than likely, it'll be probably mid-September before we issue a notice to proceed. So his construction time will probably start end of September, 1st of October. His first pay request, if he hits the ground, which we're thinking that they would be 1st of November, would be the first request for cash from that contractor.
And how much do you anticipate those requests for cash would be? Like, would it be half of it, third of it?
This is curb and gutter. You need to put the pipe in first. At the maximum, Johnny, would be a third to a quarter of it. And I mean, that's,
Okay, then go on when you think his next one would be.
so now we're working. Now you're going December. And then if they're not finished by December, with the major curb work by December, now some of it is the materials that Kirby's gonna have to do, which is the DBST. All of that will be pushed into next year. Okay? Because he can't do that during the winter months.
We're only adding 36,000 to that bond for that mortgage project.
Right.
Well, we could do an interfund loan like we've done in the past.
But the reason why we're only adding 36 is we anticipate collecting 170,000. In other words, we only got $170,000 in the bank. That's what we got.
Okay.
And we we are anticipating collecting another $170,000 with this year's taxes, which wouldn't really come in until at least January.
No, wait a minute, Johnny,
February.
let me look back though. I'm glad you said it like that, cause I'm thinking now, your money is match and in-kind services.
Right.
So I've gotta see how much of that in-kind and that money is for the materials that he's got and how much is actually matched for construction. Total.
I think it was $350,000 plus
It was.
what they did.
Cash.
$350,000 in cash is our match.
That's what we allocated.
Now,
In the
don't
grant.
scare me to death. They don't make you put all that up at the very beginning, do they?
No. Way CDBG is, you know, they'll pay.
We gotta put it up as it comes.
Right, as it comes in, then they'll pay their portion and y'all will pay your portion. There, how it's not like an MDOT where if it's 23% matched, then y'all do 23 and 80.
Yeah.
Once the bids come in, they'll juggle it around, they'll pull some out of CDBG and they'll pull some out of y'all. Remember, was it really 350?
Yeah, I think it was 350 plus all this work.
$722,000 grant.
And how?
350 up. That's what we were saying about getting CDBG grant. You got.
But
They
I
told
think-
us we had to have at least about right at 50% of it almost, even to qualify to get the grant too. And we got that kind of money on it.
I can
Remember
walk
that,
things.
Dennis?
That's right.
I do, but I don't. I do, and I do kind of remember y'all. It was going to cost you $350, but I really thought.
Plus, okay.
It is. See, the 350 was just on the 722. The in-kind work had to do with
Pushing you over the 50%.
over and also us doing the paving of the road, the DBST, after the whole fact of the grant.
Right,
See, we
but-
doing that.
But part of your money pays for that material. And the way we did the cost estimate, that $350 y'all have, I think so, Glenn.
Oh,
Yeah,
Part of the
that'd be good.
350 pays for the DBST.
Yep, that, y'all got credit for that. It down, you got credit, and I don't know if it was the 350 or the 350 cash.
Well, that's
And,
good, because we never was told
And,
that. We thought we just got the DBST it after the whole thing. That's good.
I'm feeling
I
better
like
in
that.
that we have $170,000 cash available today.
Right.
And we anticipate another $170,000 in this year's tax collections, which will be coming in December, January, February.
Let me get here to bring my estimate.
And then we were gonna borrow the little smaller
36.
that we thought would need left over. But as long as you don't have to have it all at once,
Cost estimate for this
then
Eastmore.
I agree
we'll be all right. And
Um,
especially in that
it was
some of the
like late
items
today,
that y'all have on the list of things that you.
Bring it as soon as you can bring that estimate over here to me. For the
Do
CDBG,
around
because it would have
until
the
you get
cost
your-
with
in
the
other words,
in-kind
like-
work there.
Renovation of the courthouse elevator. If that project wasn't ready and you needed the money for the Eastmore, well, you
Use
could
that
use the Eastmore money until the other came in, and then you have to replace that for the elevator.
Yeah, I think if you say right now you've got 173,000.
Yeah.
I think you're good. You're good. For those.
We
first
levied
two
that
months.
last year,
Okay.
and we're gonna levy again for the other half, or almost half, and then we're gonna borrow what the little balance was.
Right, since y'all are talking bonds and all such, Sharon's gonna bring that estimate over and we can kind of really see of your match, how much was in kind and materials but we did put, as part of that money, y'all are buying.
That's
So,
all
I thought that was two different projects.
I did too, I thought it was 350
I
plus.
thought the paving was a project and the curb and gutter was a project
No,
of itself.
because the way we wrote the project was this is one main project, which is to do all new curb and gutter, drainage pipe, basins,
you remember, we did add some products in for the curb and gutter, cause he has to get it ready with the,
He's gotta pull it
with the
out,
seal
haul it off.
and, but he has, you put some gravel in there for him to get it ready for the upholstered curb. But we're talking about just after everything is done, going back, chipping the road up in DBST, and that was totally simple.
But I think I included it, which gave y'all more credit for the
Okay.
project.
All right.
See what I'm saying? Because the
You the
high
engineer,
school-
I didn't know.
I know. But I'm also getting old, that's why I say I think. Like it's laying in front of me,
We the same age. so.
Yeah, I know. yeah, but I'm much older. So, so, when it's laying in front of me, I will, but I know I would have done that, cause that gives y'all a higher score. The more money you throw at that.
You know when you got two dogs, you call them the children. The children gone. Ron got two dogs. I said, Ron, who are these? What is this, y'all? Ron, these are my children.
They are my kids, you know. Bad thing is I love them more than a lot.
Well, the other thing for me just to throw out here is he's on a deadline, and so am I, as far as the borrowing for all these things. So, when I have it ready to adopt today, but when a man comes in and you start talking about other things, add to it, I mean, I can do it, but that may cause a delay. And we're right up against deadlines now, as far as this budget.
Yeah, and again, with this project, it's CDBG and we need to move ASAP to get the construction underway. They've got timelines, and that's what Kirby's gonna actually try to start out there this week on.
That payment gonna cost probably, we can do that next year.
Well, if
It's gonna cost.
we do it in a separate issue, you don't have to do it in the same.
Okay, but I'm saying, I don't want it to stagnate what you already got a deadline on.
Well, I got it ready for the date, and that's not with any papers or that kind of stuff.
Okay. Just leave the payment.
Cause I'm like him, he wants to get it in the paper this week, and so do I.
Let's go back to this, cause Glenn, you were out of the office when we discussed it. On the, or y'all meet in August on the 15th, that's y'all's regular scheduled board meeting. The first day we can open would be that Friday, the 19th. We're talking about, opening on the 22nd, the following Monday, at 10 a.m. Does that work? We just kinda, okay. Alright, so I'm gonna give that to Sharon, so we'll open on the 22nd.
I was going to put an order on authorizing.
When you say that, that's gonna be what date?
Alright, so y'all need to authorize me to advertise on the 21st and the 28th of July. Those are just advertisements. And then we will open bids on the 22nd of August at 10 a.m.
Well, recess will come,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We need to,
okay. Working on budget.
y'all know Sharon, right?
Yeah,
She's
like-
my boss
Hey,
and runs the
Sharon.
office.
Hi, how y'all doing?
If y'all need anything, call her, not me. Second at 10 a.m.
Thank y'all.
Is, 722,107. 722,107.79. That was total profit. And that included the total bid cost, which is what we just advertised. And that we're estimating that's 480,000. The material cost to DBST, which is, we're estimating that to be 50,478. So those costs are in there. And then 60,000 of his in-kind services. So we gotta make sure we keep up, like we should with everything, so, Lake's got a breakdown in here of, how those in-kind services are figured out. You make sure you hit that 60,000 mark.
But those in-kind services would certainly include tearing out.
That's what goes on.
Could include some of the work on finishing it.
No, it does. It includes all that. So what we did is figured out hours for them to remove all the curb and gutter, then go back in and DBST the road. All of that time
All
is
that's
part
in
of that. So that overall 722,000 included for y'all to remove. Part of that 60,000 anytime and 50,000 materials. So we do have that the cost of that is in your money. So if the whole cost of the construction project, then y'all are good with 170 right now, because that's half of that already. See what I'm saying? Are you?
Yeah, but what happens if he comes back with 550 or 600? Who knows? You just don't know what's going on.
You're right. You're right. And this has been an adventure with East Lake.
Well, the main thing is it's a court order.
No, I know. No, that's what I meant. It's been
I know. You and I sat there at the meeting together in Greenville, the federal and Johnny, all us right there. Ain't nothing you just selected to. It's something that it's a court order that.
Moorhead was backed into it, and they've done their part with the water.
You do it or you get contempt of court, right, John?
Yeah. You probably.
And that's a pretty little judge over there, but she does not play.
You know, the worst thing about it is, I mean, as bad as we talk about the federal court, but that's not the biggest consequence. If she holds you in contempt, you go to jail, that's bad news, but you eventually get out. But the bad thing is, if you ever have that happen to you, you're never gonna get any kind of federal assistance, even through the state. It's federal money flowing through the state. You're not gonna get it. You're gonna be eligible for it. You're gonna be on the debarred list. So we can.
And hopefully, once all this is done, and I know the mayor's been meeting with some people about doing some stuff out there with the housing, and I met with Ben with FEMA last week. They've got mitigation money again. I don't know if it's eligible, but we want to try to, in conjunction with this drainage. They don't pay for levies for mitigation, but
From that gate we talked about?
right, where we actually build up an earth berm. I'm not gonna call it levee, because they say levees aren't eligible, but we'll berm up around that low area, and then where our drainage comes out, we'll have a structure in there where I don't think the mitigation will pay for pumps that are in there all the time, but at least when the water gets up and the more backs out, we can get a pump in there and just pump it over into the road without sandbagging and all of that other stuff to keep it from flooding. So,
That's how we got the water out last this year.
right. So instead of doing it with sandbags, all we do, and Moorhead's got other things like that. We just berm up around it and build a structure with this project that'll allow us to do that. And FEMA, if FEMA comes through, we're going to shoot for it anyway. If they come through, maybe we can actually put some sort of permanent stormwater pump station where when it does back up, it'll actually just pump it over into that road.
Show you the importance of Ole Miss is doing a story on it now. I've been interviewed. And what they doing, they're trying to make sure that we go all the way through with this. The lawyers got the school of law and all that. That's what I'm saying.
They're watching every move.
They sent a reporter down here to ride with them, or had me to ride with them. They did the story on it. Make sure that we still up the part.
Yeah, the vice president was going to meet there, and he did, and I think Bill Gates' wife still met with the mayor over there about the Moorhead area.
She did.
They're trying to do some big time stuff over there. So, still think we should have just condemned it and moved everybody out to high.
slough back in the sixties or seventies.
It was. You know, we tried that, but, you know, we talked to Benny Thompson and we talked to other people. Well, we threw the idea out there on the table, but there just wasn't federal money available to do that. But the state didn't have the money to do it. We started off with a federal project. HUD didn't want to get involved in it anymore. So, unless you had some tycoon want to come in and build it, and lease it, to buy to everybody, it just wasn't gonna happen.
And I found out real quick too, there's some people over there that have a lot of ties to Eastbourne because they remember when it was built and it was a really nice place out there and had you know, it was a lot of people in that area that had a lot of.
Now, they've been there since the first house.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Anyway, I don't know if I answered the question, but I think I think you're good with the amount of money y'all got built up right now.
Okay, let's
that
move on.
50,000 will be next year too. All right. So that was that, and then I sent. I don't know if y'all.
Let's do something so I can keep up with it before we do it. The first thing was the Eastbourne subdivision authorized him to advertise.
Got a motion for that.
Motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. We passed around the order for everybody to sign from Roger and Jim.
Oh, that's probably the bridge.
That's about the bridge.
Bridge
We need to
inspection.
do that.
Okay, good. I'm getting ready to ask you for that. That's the next round of inspection.
What's the name they wrote the bridge on? The bridge.
Inspect all the bridges again. This will
Now,
be
what the
inspect-
bridge we getting ready to do? It's in your district, then. What's the name?
Queen Litnick, right.
Litnick.
All right, that is, we should have the bonds back from the contractor today. That was, McBride, Jonathan McBride called Friday and said he could have the bonds back from the bond. So, as soon as we get those in place, I will be sending them to state aid, and state aid will give us the notice where we can start the inspection.
When would y'all do the inspection on the bridges?
Normally we do sunflowers. I want to say in November, either November or December. We have to do them. The federal is to do them within the same month every year. We have to be. We can't go over the time. So.
Find out how many bridges is not gonna be it.
And in the next board meeting, I'll be presenting 3 bridges to program. Now that we've bid this last one, we know how much money we've got left, and I think we've got enough to do 3. And I kind of discussed them with y'all when we rode around before. That's when I was looking at the one that you need that is done, but it's a state aid road, so I ran it out. So I'm not gonna recommend you use state aid money to do that. Yeah, it's the difference between using state aid money. We discussed this before. When you do a state aid bridge, it's going to be about $700,000, and we can use LSVP money because of the design standard. It's going to be between $400,000 and $500,000. It's just a difference in design standards. We probably did bridges pretty more expensive. So,
Well, you're talking about the bridge on somebody at Avena Road using tank cars.
right, that's what I said. So I think we can use 2 tank cars and keep it as a temporary structure until y'all replace your other 50.
30-something thousand plus the gravel,
Right.
$700,000.
Right, and it's getting where we haven't closed it yet, but I know that industry. I talked to Steve Sheridan several times. They're really concerned about that bridge. You know, we may want to look at trying to do it next year, or just wait until we have to close it. But you know, they can cross it now, but it's a low-rated bridge.
Keep pounding on you about something, because you don't want to take a chance.
Right, right.
Go ahead.
And not only that, Glenn, you got those, that's a farming community out there, you got those farmers, and you got all the catfish trucks that are going toward Alabama, the back way hauling feed to those fish ponds over there. They used to be in District 3, till we redistricted 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, cause they were in yours, we had that one, and we had Zachary
Zachary
Road.
Road.
Both are state aid bridges that are low rated, and we've not been able to, do either one of them. Why
Let me
don't
ask you this, what's the holdup? Why can't we gonna do it?
You can. You can, I'm just writing right down now.
That tank car gonna come out of the bridge fund, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's in,
I mean, that's your choice, what I'm saying.
It's kinda, it's open now. We didn't close it during this year's inspections, which we just, finalized everything 2 months ago on all of those, and that bridge is still open, it's still low rated. So it's really up to y'all and your schedule of,
Let me ask you this, if we started, will we be able to finish?
these things go pretty quickly. You've done it, right? Y'all done.
Okay.
It's basically,
It's done in two weeks.
Oh, yeah.
right, these are, you have to buy the tanker cars, and what I'll do, length and diameter. Again, I think we're gonna have to put 2 in, which I think we put 2 in, and, can we do a dual one on Holly Ridge?
We did a duel on 3 Mile Lake also.
Or is it 2 beside each other?
No, we will 2 together.
Yeah,
Right, no, I'm
But
talking
the
about, the amount of flow coming through this thing that we calculate is gonna take at least 2 side by side.
Let me tell you why I'm trying to push this for you, Anthony, is because when you do the bridge inspection in November, if it's bad enough after Dennis saying running over all that high
Right.
traffic farmwood, and you close it then, it's gonna be a bad time to try to put a tanker car in November, December. And people and farmers, what they do now, they put this stuff in socks, and they run grain, they run 18 wood, all up to January, you know. Then what you're gonna do is tear the gravel road back up, because they're gonna be trying to go around, taking a detour, and you're trying to take a detour with 100,000 pounds of gravel on a.
they'll come out on Preacher Road, you know, and look.
And that's what's gonna happen.
Well, if y'all start, what I'll do.
That's for you,
is-
Anthony,
I'll tell you how long.
you don't wanna go, I'm not gonna get the call, you gonna get the call.
You know, whether you wait until just after they harvest, before we do it, I don't know what's on that road.
It's more than
They
just
got-
a farm.
Yeah,
like
so
you
the
said, you
biggest
got-
thing is, like I said, that plantage down there, then you have those fish trucks that come from, the floor count. Or you got farm trucks, I mean, that's
Right.
what, for the road up, they're coming through, you know, the shortcut coming back over the 49.
And there is a detour, but it's not really a good road.
Yeah, because they could take that dive road and come around and get on,
Yeah, it's gonna
What's
take
It's,
that?
it's gravel, it's
yeah, so
gravel
it
back
is
up
in
until you
bad
get
shape.
to.
And then there's a bridge there.
Right, so
Yes.
that, it's in
Probably
bad
not.
shape, that lower part of Dodd is in bad shape.
Yeah, it is.
till you get to the state aid
Till
part.
you get to the state aid part. So,
The reason we had to put that new cover in the tank car on Pat Sheffield Road right now is because we detoured, we went around, had the bridge out on 3 Mile Lake. And they tore that little road, tore that cover up.
That's just
So
the
we
way-
spent double the money.
okay, alright, so what I'll do, let me tell you the diameter.
Okay.
And then, is that you or you? Okay. The diameter and the length that we're gonna need, because it might take, 4 total culverts to do it. I can't remember how this is. And then I need to see, it's gotta. I'm thinking it's gonna take 2. Get,
taking quotes on the railroad part.
Right, so, and I think there's two,
But you gotta have two, and they got to be right.
right,
Same.
and we got, it's one that always ends up being the less expensive out of Arkansas. It's Diversified. And then, but there's another company that, and maybe y'all know too, that they've got it before, so, and we can go ahead and get those quotes. Right. So let me get y'all the diameter and the length, and then y'all can get in touch with them and tell me what size they've actually got available, and we'll tell you if it'll work. And then get the quotes, and then y'all can just get it lined up. Basically, you tear the bridge out and have them come in and weld it, and they roll them in, and then bring it back to gravel, and then
That thing, I don't know if it'll, may take, like you're saying, if you have the two together, because they, what's the length on those things?
We did one, I want to say 70.
Something like that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so we may, I mean.
that
once
low
you do-
water crossing, the one we did up from,
It was 70 because they.
we had to weld that one together, didn't we? Yeah, it's like 30-some foot tanker cars they welded together. And that was a deeper trench than what we've got now, so hopefully, we can get by, but, I'll send, the survey crew up there and we'll kind of get
Is
the
that
depth.
for Sac-
What's the track over guy name?
John Stratton?
John Stratton. He's done 2 or 3.
We don't have, our machine won't lift on the same, so
Won't budge.
we'll pull you over in that hole. Is he starting out ditch yet? Kirby?
No, sir, he said it'll have to be after they get that corn out of their field, because he would have to go down the north side because of the power lines on the south side. We went in there, on to replace that culvert under the road, and we wiped that ditch out some with the backhoe, so it's flowing, we got a problem right up the road.
Pratt Place Road was flooded. You got a road flooding and it's not raining. You got a problem.
Alright, so I'll get that information to you, and then we will get some prices on that. Alright,
Put an order on to authorize the road manager to work with the county administrator to secure quotes for railroad tank cars for repair or replacement of the bridge on the Sunfire Elevated Road. So that way they can have,
Ain't already ready.
they can have a quote to bring to them. Ron will give them the information that they.
I'll tell them
I
size.
have a formal motion. Motion by Mr. Clark, second by Mr. Holm, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have.
Alright, and then y'all just pass this, agreement around to sign for the bridge.
Yeah, they signed it, but somebody
We
make
signed
a motion to do it.
Have a motion that we, allow the inspection of
Bridge
the bridge.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Holm, second by Mr. Clark, all in favor? All opposed?
Then this one, I don't know if Sharon brought this one over or not, AT&T is putting in, do y'all already have this?
I have it, I've already
Yeah.
signed it.
Okay, yeah, and I recommend y'all go ahead and approve it, but just.
Have a motion.
Yes, sir.
AT&T right away. Motion.
It's in the-
Motion by Mr. Clark. Okay, second by Mr. Holm, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
That's all I have.
All right, road manager?
Well, we have our solid waste equipment that y'all had over in the back. We have those.
I have a comment on mine. The same thing happened to me last year about this time. Place those dumpsters, they really help the county. I mean, what this report shows that anything, on these dump sites,
What you recommend, we put one up about once a month?
Yeah, I wish we could. But it really helps.
But I tell you what, now, that's a
It's
good
obvious.
suggestion. What we can do, when we do a renewal of our contract, we can talk with our and actually what would it cost?
I told my friend that that was your
To
voicemail.
do us one.
We can have
Cause those
voicemail
things
back
are pretty expensive. We doing it through a grant now. It's like $300 per dump.
For how long? For a year or more?
300 per dump.
Gets full.
Till it gets full?
When you get full. Be 5
You got
times.
food.
Just say we gave you a 300 rate. Straight out. We're talking about 5 times 300. That's $1,500 a month.
Up in a month's time?
Well, Drew, District 5 did. Now, District 4, they're not full yet. I'm not sure about Kirby's.
I've gotten a dump on, well, the one at Inverse, they dumped it twice. The one we had out for cleanup, I think we had one more than one, in each more, and, Dennis's, the one.
About half full.
Yeah, that's what I looked at it, one day last week, and so I hadn't called them yet about it. And one that we had.
It kind of work when people get the time to do it. When they get the time to do the cleaning, a lot of times people do the cleaning, like when somebody take a vacation or something, they'll go do the cleaning then, and that's when it'll fill up. You can tell when it's gonna fill up when they got the time to actually do the work. Each one was very appreciative, because they did it. Miss, what's her name? J-Berry White.
Miss Jeanette.
Miss Jeanette, she's kind of oversee that, and I tell you what, man, she makes sure they get that stuff around their house. If they don't get it, she'll tell them to get it. Go ahead, Ms. Dixon.
Well, I guess I have a question about like Rome, when I rolled up there, they had out before the dumpsters were there. And so I illegal dump that they have here, so if it's either gonna be in the bins or it's gonna be an illegal dump. So what happens when we have to go there, and I guess we have to go get it if they just dump it, right? You know what I'm asking?
I understand.
They've had a lot of stuff in one place.
It would be considered illegal dump, just like if you find it in a ditch somewhere.
If you consider illegal dump, then what do you do with it?
Then the county has to clean it up, right?
Well, we do clean it up.
So, I mean, is it more efficient to keep cleaning it up or just give them a bin up there? I guess is what I'm asking. Cause it was
You have to
was
weigh it
one
out, yeah,
spot
that's
in
tied
Rome
with the
that
cost to clean it up.
it was
Wrong. You know, you throw a beer can out, I think you should clean it up. No, don't call me.
Well, hold on, wait now. Part of your salary is for them to call you. Part of your salary is for this grant. And that's why they call you. That's why you take the picture. That's why you give a report to us. We have to have that in order to secure that grant money. It's a reimbursement grant. We pay you and they give us the salary, not just you, Kirk, also.
so we can't just let it sit there.
My point is that, no, you can't let it sit there. That's why you got the grant. So they have to bring us pictures in on a reporting once a month.
What Todd is saying, I think what Todd is saying is that we should do something about this illegal dumping. We shouldn't have to just continue to go there and clean it up. We need to do something about this illegal dumping and get rid of the problem. That's the problem. And you shouldn't have to just continue. So if it's illegal dumping, then let's get rid of the illegal dumping. Sign out what to do to get rid of it. See, so that will solve your problem.
This is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Part of stopping the illegal dumping is why they get paid. You need to catch them. You getting paid to catch them. Okay? When you catch them, you turn them over to the sheriff, they get fined. That's part of the salary. That's why you get paid. So, now, to put a dumpster there, that's fine if that's what the board suggests. You put a dumpster there, you're not going to...
Well, why are they dumping?
Because they're too lazy to take it to the road bar. We have dumpsters at the road bar. They can bring it and dump it at the road bar. They don't want it. That's just like, why, when they leave McDonald and Wendy's, they go right to Crouch Road.
Brown and Drew.
They won't,
They got drive from Rome to Drew.
Let me finish. They drive from McDonald and Wendy's and go to Crouch Road and throw their McDonald and Wendy's paper out every day. They do not wait till they get home and put in their own garbage. They throw it out. Mr. Dean can clean it up this morning by 8 o'clock. By 12 o'clock, it's back filled. It has to be stopped by catching them and finding them. Now, you know, if Todd and Ms. Dickinson choose not to put their dumpster at the road barn and put it at this spot, we have one at the road barn. If you want to put it in this spot, that's your decision. If you want to put that dumpster at that spot.
I didn't check with,
Well, I was at the road barn so we could control what's being put in there. You can't put household garbage in there.
I hadn't checked with Kirby, but that was out there by the new bridge that's been on Kitlock Road. They dumping out there, start back dumping out there.
Yes,
And but I had
They
this
started not
time
long
to see.
after the bridge.
Man, how you gonna catch these people? I don't know when they start dumping.
Yeah,
Built
they
nice,
wait till, yeah, that's what I said, they wait till late at night.
That's like
a new bridge you built there, now they start dumping at the new bridge.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about going to pick it up myself the other day. I said, something wrong here.
Give them somewhere to dump it.
So
they have somewhere to dump it. They won't go to it.
Like from wrong to doing.
well, maybe somebody can check and
I suggest
check this and find out
Can you
who's
find
doing
a
it.
solid waste grant?
Check it. Sometimes you go in there and find out if there's any addresses there.
If handle the solid waste grant, so you get, that we do a lot of cleanups, and when we put a dumpster out, it appears that does away with a lot of the need for cleanup. Ask them if they would give us some money for keeping another dumpster out there. I don't know whether they will, but
That's up there. Todd, do they bring it to the Drew barn? They dump it?
We have a small container. That's a Drew.
You don't have a big dumpster?
The deal was, I'm sorry,
Do you have people that use it?
a few. The deal was, and we've got two small ones. Well, I'm
So
sure.
you couldn't get the two. Okay. That's
Who
what
pays-
RDS does.
Who pays for the one? We got a dumpster there, and that helped us because we don't have that much stuff dump. 'Cause
You
we
need
got,
dumpster. That's the
City.
city.
yeah, we,
Yeah, the city must do that.
Yeah,
We
but-
also, we also replaced one there.
yeah, and we don't have that much dumping out because the dumpster is right there, and most people take it to the dump. I mean, it's right there where some people can find it and get to it.
One house, that's Mr. Joseph, whatever his name is.
Oh, they drive down there, don't they?
That's my point. If they can drive to Kinlock Bridge and dump it there, they can drive to the road barn and dump it there. So it's the people, it ain't where you put dump all of them down the road. And if they don't wanna dump it in the dumpster, they're not gonna dump it. Your dumpster out there,
Well, they don't know what nasty up there.
huh?
Give them somewhere to dump that stuff.
That's what I just said, Ms. Dickinson, put your dumpster there. Well, you think that the spot where they dump it, put your dumpster there, let them bring it and put it in the dumpster.
All I have is that one small one at the Drew shop. If I take it to Rome, there's nowhere for the citizens of Drew to put there.
So when we start working on the budget, we can put some more money in here for the dumpster. Is that what we're saying? Keep it, you still got that on that wall, right? It was still up there.
We're allowed one more dump.
One more dump for that. This is too long.
It really is a long, it's different from down on the south. It's more compact. Long area, long way for folks to come to Drew for lunch.
And they can
we gonna do whatever's feasible. If you think it's feasible, do that, let's get you to do that. But that dumpster's in your Nola bond, okay? That dumpster's in your Nola bond. If a person wanna dump on Moorhead or Inverness, they have to drive to Indianola. It's no in Nola bond. It's predicated on the people. In fact, you come to your local, you come in city limits of Moorhead and put it on the side of the road, and every Thursday they pick up stuff. You got to throw it in the ditch if you don't want to throw it in the ditch.
You're talking about cities that have got a local government and everything. You're talking about rural.
Go ahead.
Well, I tell you how I caught the man to kick the door in on my office 3 times.
There you
Put
go.
up a game camera.
There you go.
A deer count.
Try it. You'd be amazed what you may see out there.
Go ahead.
Pretty doggone good
The
camera.
press had, of course, had.
And
Go ahead, Press.
you could ask the grant, see if they would do that grant too, that they would probably get some surveillance cameras.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just suggesting that, I mean, I'm thinking that one of the things that probably helped with the dumpsters was the advertising that, okay, we've got dumpsters out there, y'all can come dump them here. And I think a lot of it may stem from the fact that the public don't actually know where they can come dump it. Because to be honest with you, until I started coming to these meetings, I didn't realize I could take stuff out to the road bar to dump it. So maybe just a simple matter of advertising, we have dumpsters here, bring your stuff here and dump it.
I didn't know either.
It's been in the paper for years.
I'm just talking about a continual, you know, you can put it in there every week or every month or whatever.
I guess we'll go knock at everybody's door then. Tell them, whatever y'all want to do, that's fine.
I like Johnny though. I think you put cameras out at a couple of bridges under video surveillance. No, whether you put it there or not, you have the sign saying.
Well, maybe it's stopping. We don't
No,
cameras out there. They won't dump it.
Don't put the sign under video surveillance, you won't have a camera there.
They'll steal the sign.
Or you just put the sign there with no video camera.
Okay, so out of all this discussion, what we come up with? What we gonna do? Johnny said, so the town administrator could ask the grant to use some of that money to put an extra dump in Rome. Okay, through the grant.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm asking you, what you think, through the grant or put it in the budget?
We can see what we find for the grant costs. And if we don't find anything, we can go.
I don't have a problem with it, but.
I do.
Okay.
That would probably put it in the budget. I'm all for it. If DEQ will pay for it through a grant, I'm all for it. But I'm not for voting to raise the tax and farmland and south end of town to pay for rolling the garbage pickup when they're too lazy to take their garbage to the dump. I'm not for it.
I think we should look for the grant. But as far as, the people that's a long way to drive, transportation is an issue for poor people that live.
So
in
Rome will
Rome.
have nowhere to take their garbage.
They have their personal bins.
Big stuff. Let's look for the
Well,
grant.
ain't got no 55-gallon barrel.
They do that. They do that. But you want me to put out 55-gallon barrels on these bridges?
Then call.
Pick 'em up?
Tell them come out and look at it.
Yeah, I just don't think
That'll
it's,
work.
Which is
They'll come out there and look at it.
Put the dump on top of the bridge, they're gonna throw it over. All right, Todd, you work with, Ms. McIntosh, if you would,
okay.
and let's see him. And Ms. Dickinson, no, seriously,
If I had a dump,
and in between that time, Todd, let's not wait till Bill, if you see it out there, you'll go pick it up. Yeah, out there. lot of downtime on the road departments now. It ain't like we use all day. We don't pick it up. They don't have to sit there. Okay, next thing. Motion to receive the solid waste
So moved.
report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have a motion carried.
I had a couple other little things. I had a budget amendment that I brought into Ms. McIntyre for some greater blades. We didn't realize we were short of the work, and we wanted to try to get that approved today. There she looked at it and okayed it, and I didn't approve it. So, yes. I don't know if she's going to do
You have it at your desk.
I'm making.
Under greater blades.
I second this motion.
I'm making.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have the motion carried. The next one is, budget amendment, line, budget amendment, Pop Shirley. Yeah. Oh, okay, it has nothing to do with it.
Well, they were getting more.
Yeah, it was a that was repair in John D. A Wade rather for that ride.
Right, we need to do some amendments so that we could have a sufficient amount of money in each one of those categories. So Stephanie and I looked at it, we just cleaned up the whole department.
What is this? That's a land.
I'll make a motion to approve it, balance.
Second? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Let me say this because I think I'm talking to I told Mr. Dixon, I'm gonna talk to RES and, and see what it costs, so we have more than one option. If the grant falls through, we'll have something else on the table. Instead of put, two little small bins, one in Drew and one in Rue, what it costs to put, a full size bin in Drew and then one in Blaine, and then you can move that bin around. You don't have to have it going. You can move. Said he might, through the contract, he might just, cause he giving us these others, right? The big bin. I think that's one of the part of the contract that he give us a big thing. He give them to us. I don't think we have to pay for it.
We supplied with a certain amount.
Yeah. We supply with.
About the ones we got, these five we just got.
No, I'm talking about what stays at the barn all the time. That's part of the contract he give them to us. And I show him the significance of having one that he may just give us a, you never know until you ask. Ask and we shall receive. So I want to ask, so we'll have more than one option. Because Ms. Dixon, I agree with you. I do have a concern about cleanup minute because you brought in more than once, and we're gonna take care of it. Okay. Today, well, first thing in the morning. All right, anything else from?
Well, I have another small thing. I've had several inquiries about some of that old equipment that we have and not using. Payloader that's out there and that other old backhoe that we got sitting there. I just wanted to know how you all felt about it. I think we could get a little something for them. I mean, we could be on advertising in the paper.
Jay, let me ask you, like we took stuff across the scale, that's the salvage yard, right? Can we sell to a salvage yard without advertising? Scale that?
You have to declare it.
Okay. Because one of the
You have to
pieces,
declare it worthless.
well, one of the
Doesn't
pieces,
sound like it is, because he's got some people asking.
well, it's worthless.
I mean, it's
They
not,
don't
well,
have to-
it's worthless to us for what we would have to invest to get it back running.
Now, I'm talking about it's worth no money.
Oh, well.
Worth less than $100 is worthless.
That's why I wanted to ask what would be the proper, because like I said, I've had people ask me, they thought maybe they could get it running out if they wanted to sell it themselves.
So we-
That's a fair.
I'm asking you something, because we've taken stuff across the scale before and brought a whole lot more than $100.
Mhm.
So I'm actually, you saying that you can't take it to that, or?
I'm saying you can't sell it to somebody without putting
Yeah.
advertising. So.
Okay, I make a motion, can I have a motion that we advertise to sell the front end loader? It's, you got the specs on it, Kirk?
I mean, they can come by the road department and look at it. That's, I mean, I don't have anything written on it. It's so old, I don't know if that's made for us.
We haven't used it
What
in
can
years.
is it?
Huff, H-O-U-G-H.
Do you know the model?
I can find out, I'll call you back. I can find out.
Just find me something that
Okay.
describes it.
Okay.
And I'll fix you up a little notice.
Okay.
And put it at the courthouse bulletin board and 3 other places in the county.
Okay.
You don't even have to put it in the newspaper. You can, but if you think it would raise more interest, you put it in the newspaper, but you don't have to.
Okay, we need to get some flyers and take to all your park houses.
Mhm.
Places like that.
Also in that, I would like to include that 580L, that backup, that older backup, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's not right.
You know, in the paper, I tell you.
Let's put it in.
And that older backhoe that we got out there, we could include, if y'all want, if I could include that in there, you know, because
What kind of thing?
a 580L,
But we don't want it to end up setting up like the one
What model, what
that
brand?
Mohead barn,
case, I'm
before
sorry,
we close
a
that
case
barn.
580L.
They just start
backhoe.
stealing parts off and end up just being, yeah, we really took that to the scrap, did it? I mean, now somebody can get in and rehab it,
Yeah, I mean,
dig a ditch out or spread.
so you
some
saying
dirt.
you're gonna put some, I mean, are we gonna put it in
Put two.
paper, or are we gonna just do?
We're gonna do it all.
Just put it in paper too.
Okay.
We do both,
Okay.
but I need you to get me a better
Okay, on that
description.
payload, on the front end
You
load.
said it-
It's not- We don't need nobody thinking we're trying to push it to the side for no one particular
Yes,
person.
okay.
So you put it in the paper, it's for
That
everybody.
cleans it all up.
Okay.
This
I-
It
list,
won't cost much.
this list could get pretty big. We've got a lot. You need to
I'll tell you
scrap.
what, when you leave here, go back and send that list back to Johnny or Dr. McIntosh, and when we advertise, let's just advertise it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's because.
I mean,
You're gonna get this money.
that I'm not running, I mean.
The ones that are wrecked.
Oh, yeah, you got some that are ready.
Back at 2:00
Yes.
for y'all. Y'all bring that list back and we can get it to Johnny and we'll get it advertised.
Okay. All right.
Ron, Kirby, Todd, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
We'll do it. Right. Okay.
While I'm here.
Motion to advertise, surplus. All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Okay, Ms. Hogan with the health department, and Mr. Tillman, I believe Mr. Tillman here too?
Yes, right here.
Mr. Red, y'all come on up. Ladies and gentlemen of the board,
Bring the
that's
chair with you.
Ms. Hogan, Mr. Tillman, Mr.
Bring
Rad,
the
there
chair
with
with
the health department, concerning the issue, give them a chair, give them a chair. Concerning
Nobody
the issue
gonna
we
write
had
it.
in-
Get the chill, Let the young man get it, man.
Hey, well, look, well, you've been vacationing. You out there feeding trees.
Mississippi on the outskirts, but it's in Sunflower County. Ms. Dickinson called me. Ms. Dickinson called me and asked me about it and asked me. And Ms. Dickinson and I and Ms. Ann Hogan and Mr. Billy Marlowe and the entity, Ms. Cheryl Cole. We all worked together on this to get an issue rectified so that this individual could get service. They in the county, but they're close enough to the city limits. Services, water and sewer. But Integer did not want to connect them because they're in the county. It wouldn't take Ruleville permit to turn them on. Through about what, a day and a half ago, and we ended up having to write a personal letter to Integer or email, and they went on and accepted. So I came back and talked to each other. We met with Mr. Rags and Ms. Hoagie here a little over a week ago. And we invited them back so they could discuss it with the whole board, because our attorney wanted to know exactly how to do the order.
I understand how to do the order, and I'm frankly, I still don't, because I got this little list and it talks about 911 director and chosen, page 335. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so we're gonna turn it over to them now.
So I just need to understand, because our ordinance for on-site wastewater disposal in the county says it shall be done in accordance with State Department of Health regulations. That's it. That's all it says.
What, and we've under, and, better way to make the ordinance work. We don't have anything to do if somebody's already connected to city sewer. Or if city sewer, if city sewer. We only design and inspect individual on-site wastewater disposal systems, which means if you're not fortunate enough to have city sewer, then you need to have a septic tank or a treatment. And the way the ordinance read to Energy, and Energy just was definite on this, is if you're in the county, you have to have a letter from the health department. And we don't have any authority over city sewer. To change it so that if someone has city sewer, you get a letter from the municipality that regulates the sewer, or from someone who has something to say about the sewer, that they're on city sewer or a collection system. They don't need anything from health.
I'm beginning to see, maybe all you need is what you probably wrote up, is a letter from the county or authorization or board order from the county that says to the health department, we authorize you to approve any person in the county who provides for their on-site wastewater disposal by connection to a system operated by a municipality. Would that do it?
The problem with that is, we charge for everything we do. We charge, and so it's not fair to charge an individual for something that we're not going to do something for. If somebody has no need for them to come through the they are.
But Entergy won't take it.
They're willing to.
Entergy won't take it from the municipalities in the county.
We're gonna change, that's the whole point. If we can change the wording in what y'all sent to Energy years ago, then they will take it.
Well, can I interject just for a minute?
I don't have the ordinance here in front
Can I
of me.
interject for a minute? Is that our engineers, Ron, he helped us when we first put this thing together. Well, no, well, you was here when Will Anderson was working for you. I'm sorry, Will Anderson. What we're trying to do is that close to the city. And go. Well then, how we know we gonna get taxes off that, or proper permit may not be issued. So there's some steps need to be taken for this, for the piece of proper news. They gotta have E911 address for, okay? Well, then the second thing is that it has to meet the floodplain specification. You know, especially if they're building a new structure, okay? Then after meeting the floodplain specification, then we would know then, are you in the area, Indianola have a 3-mile radius area, have the zoning department. Evidently, Rural does not. E911 address first, then E911 will contact, and that's what we have rolled up here, the floodplain. Floodplain will make sure that, okay? And then, if they're close enough to the city, then we can determine the health department to get a treatment system. Well, you won't know before they're turning off from, he has to contact Energy all the time, or Delta Electric. And then, but you need to have some steps and know, and what Energy is saying to us, that those steps has to come from the board of supervisors. Bang, bang, bang. They said, we have no problem. We want a server. We make money off serving. But they said that back then they was holding it down to the health department, said, y'all gotta give them something. Well, Mr. Tillman, Ms. Hogan said, and Mr. Ragg said, we can't give you nothing. It's not legal for us to give you nothing. They said, because, well, they said, you gotta go back to your board then. And that's why we're here. I think the steps that we gave you, Johnny.
Well, mine would be a whole lot simpler, but you say you have to charge. How much would you charge?
We couldn't charge, we're not able, our,
If city sewer is available, by law, they have to connect to that. So there would be no point for us to get involved with it, charging a fee for a service we're not providing. They simply make a connection to city sewer, and that's the end of it. Now, if city sewer is not available, then they file an application with us, they pay $175 fee.
All right, well, I'm trying to figure those. How would we amend our ordinance to provide for this circumstances in all cases? It just says in all areas in the county, if somebody needs on-site wastewater disposal system, or put comma, except when the location is
I was gonna say, you still need a letter accepting the sewer.
well, what,
So
if
basically
the
it's
city's
an
gonna
and
hook them on, the
basically it's
city's
an
gonna
and.
give that letter, won't
Yeah.
they?
I don't know, I mean, I guess you could do and or, if it's gotta go through the county, you either get it from the health department or you get it from the municipality supplying the utility.
About it, because you gotta make sure that an E911 address is given to a new area, and the way we had it set up, like Ron said, the city's not gonna do it unless they get something with Sunflower County. And Sunflower County says okay, and how you know Sunflower County says okay? Because you've given them an E911 address and they meet the floodplain specification. Bang. that's
Right,
it.
and plus then the county knows that they're either on an approved on-site system or they're on an approved municipal system. And the health department does say if they're within a municipal collections and they've got to tie onto that, they can't put a septic tank in. So to me, it's just an and or thing, but still goes through y'all because you don't have a certificate of occupancy or a CO because you don't have a inspector. So y'all do it all
And that's
through
what's
911.
concerning me, is I
So
don't
I
want
think
to be deemed to have responsibilities about on-site wastewater disposal, because that's not
well, and he would
within
not.
his legal view.
He would not. And we have different that do things differently. So even begin to build it before you move the trailer in, which would be the point where you would get an E911 address. they send them to the health department for recommendations. And we like that, and there are lots of reasons we like that. If someone has 3/4 of an acre in the middle of a floodplain, and they spend $100,000 building a house, and then they come to us, because that's normally when they would come to us toward the end of the production, and they find out that they can't get a system, then in the past, sometimes people maybe would try to come up with a system, and sometimes you couldn't. But if you have an upfront, when you first get ready to build the house or first get ready to move the mobile home in, which is an expense, you want to save the expense to the homeowner if you can. If they would come and get the 335 is the recommendation. It's just the recommendation for what kind of system you can have. If they had to have that in order to get started, it could save a lot of people a lot of money down the road. And if you'd make an informed decision, if you came to us and say you were going to need a $20,000 system, if you built on that acre, as opposed to if you moved up the hill and you got 100 acres, you're just trying to decide which acre to build on. If you moved up the hill, you could get by with a $2,000 system. Then people can make that decision before they build the house. And that would be, it would not be making the E911 director in charge of the wastewater. He would just be saying you gotta do your wastewater before you get your E911 address rather than after. And it would help if people are kind of slow to get an E911 address because they really don't want you to know they're there, possibly. Because if we're out and we see something going in that we know Ken knows, oh, man, I didn't look at that one, then we're gonna check and say, hey, how are they building? Unfortunately, we've got a lot of installers in this area that think that it's okay to go ahead and put the system in without the recommendation. We're working on that for Marty. There's a fine, there's a $10,000 fine for doing that. We're working on that for Marty. But if the homeowner knew up front that they had what they needed, they could make an informed decision.
Well, I think we need to amend the ordinance that we've got.
That's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
But I
These
think
are steps.
including, you're just moving the 335 before the E911 address rather than after. And there's it's the types of systems that would work based on your house, the size of your lot, the soils of your lot. We do site soil evaluation, take a lot of things into consideration.
And then add to that, Donnie, and/or a letter from the municipality. I mean, I do that all the time for the cities that I do. I mean, basically, they need a letter stating that the city can serve that customer. I mean, that's an easy letter. Public Works can do it.
Especially if you're gonna put a company in there. Go ahead, Jay.
Right.
Can you ask me, what is the minimum acreage in a rural area that you need to put a house or move them over home and you're planning on using a sewage, not a septic tank, but a sewage treatment plant?
That is the question of the century.
It all
Sometimes,
depends.
yeah. I have turned
I think
down.
you don't have to have one if you got 2 acres.
No, you do have to have one, but you don't have to meet this. We make a recommendation. If you have 2 or more acres,
Then you do what you want.
we make a recommendation. If you hire a licensed wastewater installer and he chooses to do something different, he has to sign an affidavit saying, I chose to do something different because I think I can make it work. I'm not running into a ditch, I'm not running into a creek, and I'm not running into any water. And he has to send us that affidavit. If you have more than 2 acres and you just go out and put a 55-gallon drum in, you are in violation of the state wastewater.
Mr. Hope, I think what
And
we all started off by saying, if you set the system up, the stuff we have now, that'll answer everybody's question, what you just asked.
Sometimes you can do it with 3/4 of an acre. Sometimes if you got beautiful, beautiful soil, you can do it with half an acre. If you're putting a small house at the front of the lot, and you've got a long lot, you can get by with half an acre, maybe.
If you use that area.
The treatment plants, if you've got flat lands, you've got to put a sprinkler system on, because you can't make them come out of the ground otherwise. And with the sprinkler system, if you've got really good soil, maybe an acre and a half. If you don't have really good soil, there's the sky's the limit.
Tell them the story you told about the man had to do, what, a mile and a half?
I had a fellow that had 1,800 acres, and he was gonna build, he had a pond, it was a marsh back here, and he had a peninsula, and he was surrounded by a pond. He had to pump it down the levee, down the road, half a mile to be able to put in what he wanted to put in. Because you can't dump in the pond, you can't dump in the swamp, because that's,
It's a sensitive area.
wetlands.
Wetlands.
Wetlands, and you
Water.
can't, yeah, you can't dump in the wetlands. And he had 1,800 acres, but where he wanted to build was on the peninsula of the pond. Now, he had enough money that he pumped it a mile and a half, but he had 1,800 acres. So there's the sky's the limit. You know, usually 3 or 4 acres, and if you got good soil, an acre and a half good soil. But you can't say 4 acres you need this because it's so different. And what if it's a triangular shape and you're going to build, you know, at the bottom of the hill in the point of the triangle? But people can call. A lot of times, if people only have whatever, that's what they have to work with. But a lot of times, people will call and say, I want to give my daughter an acre or two. How do I figure out how to do that so she can get a wastewater system? And we'll look at that.
Well, I need to get our, and I've got a couple of I need to get our ordinance and kind of draft what I think would be useful to satisfy and help. That's what I was gonna ask you, to try a car or through your telephone.
We can also send you a copy if you'd like of Rankin County's ordinance.
In other words, they've changed.
But they have a building permit department. They're gonna have to do it
That's the thing.
differently.
We don't have.
Staff, and also, in Rankin County, we probably get 8 or 10 notices of intent and act. In Sunflower County, we get,
Maybe 2 a week.
yeah, we get 8 or 10 a month. So, you really don't need a building inspector yet. Yeah, keep growing, you might.
Well, there are a lot of things, a lot of reasons why we thought about having one. And basically it's come down, in my opinion, in the past, but we didn't get one because it wasn't economical.
And it's not
It
like
just
that.
wasn't, I mean, we just didn't have the.
Here's a perfect example of what happened on Centralia Road. Man building. He got a new 911 address. Now he gotta figure out, and maybe he already know. But when he get ready to do his sewer system, he might be in for a surprise.
I'd have been out there, I'd have did that with you, that's like you talking about.
Okay, but you see what I'm saying? Because his son house back years ago when it was built, and that's a whole different scope of things now. But if they required to do this 335 form before they get that E911 address, then y'all would have told them straight up to that. You gotta have this, okay, or you won't be able to put a legally be able to put a system in. And all the E911 person, when they call for the E911 address, they say, okay, this is the number you need to call the health department. They're gonna come out and evaluate your land, your soil, and give you a recommendation.
And sometimes it's as simple as if you move the house up a little and put the stub out on the other end of the house, you're good shape. But if you put the stub out on this end, if you put the stub out on the low end of the lot, you're lost before you start.
And Ann and I both have been to sites, and when we get out there, the house already be blacked in. And then we wind up
That's
turning the lot down, not recommending anything. And a lot of these underwriters for these large mortgages, they want something from the Department of Health that certifies your system is good. But, you know, it's tough when you're telling a nice young couple with a new baby that, sorry, we can't recommend anything for your lot, and the house is 3/4 built.
And you have to have a recommendation in order to get a water. So it's not like they can say, oh, well, we're gonna do what we want, run it to ditch. Cause you can't get, you know, and that seems sort of difficult, but if you look at it, if you don't have water, you can't have sewage, the sewage ain't gonna run in the ditch on the water line, so you know, you're not messing up everybody's water. And if we have the people know up front what they're getting into,
So, John, you know,
can save them some money.
Well, yeah, I guess I do. I just, it seems mighty complicated.
But we can make it.
I just don't really understand why we can't say Department of Health regulations or connected to the municipality.
Well, killing two birds with one stone if you just move us up one step. And if you've gotta make a change, anyway,
Okay.
it'd be a
You're gonna
good.
send me
we gonna Entergy gonna stop you anyway, John, because what they got it set up now? If you don't have that 911 address, the people going out building these houses and these cabins in the woods, Entergy said, I'm not giving you nothing until you get an E911 address. And that's what this, Ms. Hogan, we all discussed that. You get the ball rolling with the E911 address. You get the ball rolling. He said, get your 335, get your floodplain. The banks will be so happy if we adopt those steps you got right there. They'll be so happy. And we'll start getting taxes on this stuff that's here behind these trees.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
We find them all the time. Houses built behind trees on the sloughs, on the lakes that not on our tax roll. You stop all that. All right. Any more questions to the health department? I want to thank y'all for taking out y'all. They drove almost 2 hours.
All
drive.
my fault. I'm sorry.
It's a long way
Caused
from
y'all
Meridian.
the difficulty. Meridian. You came from Meridian.
My
Ours
office
from
is,
Meridian.
and she's from Branch, right? Clinton, I don't know why I keep on giving you Branch.
Well, y'all need to come up.
Yazoo City, and so I've been riding and I've corn and cotton, but there are more things they grow now. Corn, and Milo, and peanuts.
Potatoes. I want to thank y'all for, again, and Mr. Rags is from right here in Moorhead, and we just want to thank y'all for taking out y'all time to come. And we don't want to have nobody helped up like we did last time.
And we're working on, talking about these installers that are not licensed, we're working on that too. We've got some that are just put in whatever, and it winds up in the ditches or backing up in the house, and we've got probably 3 or 4 enforcement actions pending in this area.
Appreciate you again.
All right.
Can we take a 5-minute break? We need one of them. Dr. Robert came to that last week. I like
Why are you doing? But it's just a lovely day. Excuse me. It does. So this is a live feed.
The tree says, anyway, just let it say.
You let that up? All this in the one, I ain't gonna do it all of it. You ain't got to do it. Probably should have told them.
I have your attention, Justice Kitchen just wanted to say something to the whole thing.
I just want to say good morning. I don't want to interfere with your business here. I know y'all are extremely busy today, but I am Jim Kitchens. I'm from Crystal Springs, Mississippi. I'm completing my first term on the state Supreme Court. I've been a district attorney. I've been a practice. I have not done anything to embarrass you. I have not been dishonest or dishonorable in any way on the Supreme Court, nor will I be in the next 8 years. Our terms are 8 in state government. Big district, 22 counties. Sunflower County is very important in that district, and y'all helped me a lot last time I carried this county. I was very proud to do that, and hope you keep me in mind in November. God bless you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Hold up, Jim, she wanted to make sure I get her.
Okay. All right, thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Thank y'all for thank you for your, the sheriff said he has nothing to bring in.
Nothing but admiration for your great work.
And Sheriff, if you do later on, hey, if you do later on, you can just come in and talk to us, okay?
Look.
Eddie Bounds, the same thing? He has
Yeah,
nothing?
well, wow.
Alicia Willis, Solid Waste?
Wow.
Okay. Waste report. A motion to receive. Any question? Have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Anything else? Anything you wanna ask us?
No, well, no. We've already I spoke with Mr. Holmes and Mr. Clark about the delinquent accounts, and I wanted to suggest that if I could compile a list of the ones that are $300 or more, to make sure that those people are in those residents, and I get with B911 and give them the list, and we find out if people are there. Most of the people that are $300 or more, that's our delinquent money. That's most of our money that's actually delinquent. So if there's no one in that residency, I can stop the building and.
But it's still just continue growing.
Yes, sir.
No need for it to grow, nobody there.
Yes, sir. If there's no one there, then we can't build anyone. There's no card out there. They're not picking up trash. And that bill is just constantly going and going and going. And then the only way we find out if someone finally buys a car or something and wants to get a tag and they have $1,100 bill. And they're not even at that address. But when we pull it up by name, they have a $1,100 bill.
I think it would save us. If there's a cart there, we being billed. If nobody's there, because by state law, we have to supply a garbage cart to the resident. If nobody's there, then we can go back and say, listen, nobody lives here, so y'all need to stop billing us.
And we can do that. Only way you do that is power meter's been taken off the house.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I said nobody, if it's abandoned, nothing is there, nobody's there, you know. And say it's a rent house. Well, the person, if you're not renting that house, then you need to take that meter off the house, or you gonna keep getting billed. You get what I'm saying? And people do, they do remove the base off to keep garbage. But by us knowing that, we can take those appropriate action and notify the people. Because some houses are abandoned, they're not going to do it. Maybe they need remodeling or demolition or something.
Well, what I've done.
But we paying the money every month for them. We need that bleeding needs to stop.
Well, I've opened at least 20, 25 accounts with people that are actually living in homes that are not paying their trash bills. So what I've done was sent all the bills out, regardless of what amount is on there. I sent the bills out, and most of the time I get them back with their return address, their new address. So I send a letter stating that I do have a bill in your name, and send me something stating that you're no longer there, or someone else is in the house if you're renting the house or something. So the new accounts come from people that are actually living in the homes that should be paying the bills, but they're
Still
not
other
paying the
people
bills.
getting
Yes, sir.
It's something else too. The ones that have moved off, that like, there's one right here, not calling names or anything, but last payment was made on rural garbage pickup was in '99. And, it's,
But we've been charged.
since 1999. But, the rural garbage, we can, if that's a rental house, and they owe $1,700 back, garbage pickup, we can go back to the landowner. I mean, the property, the house owner. And on rental property in rural areas, that'd be the landowner, be the farmer. That can be added to his property tax.
Well, most of the time, if they're renting, there's a place on there that acts as their tenant, and there's also a place on there for them to state their tenant's name, but it's not on there. So what I have found, like if they owe, like if Packard or someone like that, I get a compiled list of all of their rentals and send it to them and ask them who's at that property.
You collected a great deal one time, I remember.
Yes, sir.
Had a big check.
And Tackett has been sending checks on point. So, and Fertiza has come up and has sent a check in. But most of it, I have due process here in Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, okay, I'm sorry.
Just don't talk, but don't put nobody there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Most of due process here in Thursday, I have at least 5 people that are deceased. But the only way I found out is when I sent the bill in, that was $600, $700, $800, and the person that's over the estate or the child or someone, they come in and say, "That's my mom. She passed 5 years ago, or she passed 4 years ago, or she's in a home."
Did they
I don't
still
know
own the
that.
property?
No.
Whoever owns the property.
Is somebody else assigned to that address?
No.
So the address just sitting there going?
It's a signal.
So you don't know.
I don't
Let
know.
me suggest this, though. I want you to be careful in that. There are several Attorney General's opinions that say the 911 district is not supposed to use 911 funds in any way for anything except 911 purposes. And they specifically said not to collect on garbage accounts. So I would ask you, if you want to find out on every bill that you've got that's more than $300, I think it's wise. Ask the road managers to go look at it. They are solid waste enforcement officers. They're out there. They're the ones that don't want to have any problems about them going to check it out. Not trying to take work away from John. I know he'd be happy to do it, but we don't want to get any problems. Bender.
So call the road manager.
And I think it's wise if you've got a list of people that are more than a certain amount, and just tell them, go find out what's on this address, who's out there.
Well, they'll ride in all the time anyway. It's not the road.
They're riding
We have
right in.
this system manager, so somebody's out there all the time, having eyes on things, and that'd be good.
Police, I want to stop this. I appreciate the job you're doing. I've never seen
And your predecessors, I appreciate that.
Appreciate you. Any more questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, you all too.
You have Todd. You have Todd and person number
Yes, sir.
4.
We've already done
Then
that.
it can be.
All right, next on the agenda is, being Grant.
Good morning.
Report. You have a copy of it? Is it our package? Okay.
We hadn't had any fire injuries this month, but we did have one commercial structure burn in the city of Rubel. That was a barber shop located right across the street from the hospital in Rubel. It burnt on June 27th, late that night. It was completely destroyed. Down on here, we didn't have any major storm damage. We had some trees get blown down, but nothing major since the last board meeting. FEMA Public Assistance Team, I've been working with them. I gave Ms. McIntosh 3 copies of work orders that we turned, that has been submitted for reimbursement. Gave those to, I believe, Friday. They're trying to add as many roads into each work order as they can. We're trying to get the last ones done into at least 1, maybe 2 more additional work orders, so we can go ahead and get that completed and submitted in for reimbursement.
Is that holding up the other reimbursement?
No, sir. I mean, once they get them sent in, they're submitted in to try to get go ahead and be submitted to FEMA headquarters to get reimbursed.
The reason I asked, because we've been discussing this, getting this, whatever you're asking about now, and it's been a couple of weeks, and I don't want them holding you up from getting your other money.
Right, I mean, those work orders have already been submitted to Jackson, the ones I gave her copies for. And once they get to Jackson, they'll take them and then submit them over to FEMA. They'll all be different checks. But, we're working on that just as tight and quick as we can, to try to go ahead and get as much back, go ahead and get as much reimbursed as we possibly can.
And Ben, the reason I'm pressing this is because we spend a lot of money that we normally be upkeeping the roads right now. In July, June, and July, and August, we spent that money in April and May, and we need that money back to continue to maintain the road.
We're working on it as hard as we can. I mean, we've already submitted probably 75% of the reimbursements already. And Crystal's working as fast as she can, get them entered into the system. And as soon as she gets them entered, I go down and look at them. If she needs any paperwork, we get it with everybody to try to get any additional paperwork that she may need. And if she doesn't need anything, I sign off on them and they go. On number 4, as y'all know, it's time to update the comprehensive emergency management plan, all the annexes and ESFs that are attached to it, and I've been working on that. That's just about totally different from the last one for the template that they sent, so we're trying to go ahead and get that done as quick as we can. The 2016 Homeland Security Grant, I have completed 2 applications, one for the emergency management, one also for the Sheriff's Department. I just need y'all's permission, approval to go ahead and submit those to Jackson.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
I'll say again, one is for emergency management.
I wrote a grant to them too. We were not combined, so we went ahead and done it that way and go ahead and got them done and ready to be submitted. On June the 30th, I met with the Department of Human Services and Red Cross on shelters. Some of you may not know, but if we had to open a shelter up, it's Department of operating, and we'd have to just try to figure out how to provide security for it. The rural structure count is still working on trying to get that done as time permits. And I think y'all, last budget meeting, I gave y'all a photograph of how that's looking on the map, and just trying to get that done so we have an idea of what we have out here in the county as far as structures in the rural area when it comes down for firefighting purposes. And then also disaster response. I think Mr. Clark can tell you it helped out during the flood. So we knew what we had down each road where we didn't have it, we wouldn't have had that, wouldn't have known. That's all I have on my report. Vice President.
Well, do we have a motion to approve this?
Second.
All in favor? All in motion?
Yeah. I forgot.
Did you want me to sit down?
Okay.
How's everybody? Okay, so far, the generators both generators are working properly. 911 recorder, SOS hadn't had any problem with it at all. However, at the generator on Volume Steiner, we got down about 20% of propane, and I tried to purchase some last week, and we previously had surgery with Scott's in Louisville, but Gresham now has that account, and they was unable to fill that volume because it belongs to Scott's. So I went to Gresham here, and they gonna try to install a tank out there sometime this week. And the tank I have out there now is 100 gallon. I think the smallest of Gresham's they have is a 250 gallon. I guess we can get that finished. So that's where we go with that. There's no charge for us for them installing the tank. Well, I think $36 a year. Also, I had a few addresses. I had one on Beaver Dam Road that was a existing trailer, and then I had to move. They moved in another trailer, 358 right next to it. Had a single trailer put in on Walker Road there in Cleveland. Had a couple of signs I had to make for Kirby again on Natural Road. They just won't stay up. I rode through that the other day, and now it's on the Apple. Also, check the stop sign on, that's not your job, I guess that's Kirby, should tell Kirby. The stop sign on, Waco and Woodland, at that Y, right there at, Holly Grove, Baptist Church over there. Is that? Yeah, like that says something like that. Took it off. I don't think nobody knocked it, I think they just unloaded and took it off. The SO radios, the main radios out there, that radio I use to communicate on, we got a lot of static. We've been experiencing a lot of static over the months. Seems like on certain days, like rainy days or windy days, we got a problem with communicating with the deputies out in the field. And Ben and I went out there and we did all we could do, change antennas. Of course, y'all know I brought Greenville, they went through every vehicle and put in antennas and coaxials and that. The static, well, we come over to we got a mid-wind radio out there, and we just changed, switched all the communication over to that radio, and that radio is crystal clear. So we think the only way we can eliminate all the static is purchase 2 more mid-wind radios. So I got some quotes here.
Which vehicles are these for?
Well, this is for the
No,
SO,
base.
the primary, the
It's
main
the
communication. All
basic communication.
Okay, it's not in a vehicle.
No,
That's the
sir.
base
That's
station.
at the base station.
Yeah,
What they
it's
would
the
need to
basic.
communicate with the dispatch.
You got the radios in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Got the radios,
Yes.
proper radios in the vehicle. Yes, that's both good.
They all have portables now, we're working on trying to get them mobile through the grant.
It's imperative that we.
Well, one of them on the back is, those are just, the quote on the back is for just strictly for the radios itself, programming, 2 radios. Integrated communication was the company that installed our dispatch system when the last time we had, that lightning problem out there. So that's who I went with to come back. They previously did all the programming. I didn't want to bring anyone else in on that. So this is the quote for, to come in and install the rest of, the equipment to get them up and going. The antennas that goes on the, on the, tower out there, so.
So that's who you want to come back and
Because they previously programmed the system and installed the system the existing system that's there now.
I'm asking, is this quote after Apple?
Well, I haven't had a quote for anyone else, no, I
That's
haven't.
what he's saying. It's like, kinda like what we said in the courthouse here when you said we don't want 2 people putting in cameras. So that we won't have any dispute about if something goes wrong with it. Of course, all of these others were put in by this company.
Yes.
And programmed by this company,
Yes.
so you want them to put it in so it'll work.
Correct, right.
And what I want,
And if I'm thinking right, this system out here is I think still is on a small warranty. I think the warranty hadn't run out yet, and that's why they didn't want anyone else to tamper with it.
this back page, Motorola mid-wind pricing, that's not included in the front page.
No.
If you talk about on both of these figures.
Yes.
On the radios, you decide the state of Mississippi that can sell by state contract.
This
They're
is
set
state
up by
contract on the
district.
radio.
Integrated, if we was one county north, we'd buy the radio straight from integrated, where we're not, we're in the district with contract price.
The radios are state contract and the other is
Services.
you propose them because they install everything.
So the front page, $5,860, that's for services.
That's to come in and put the antennas up, install all the coax, program all the, you got three stations out there, station 1, 2, and 3. He had to come in and program those 3 stations.
That's fine, person. So, do we have a quote on the radio?
From someone else?
Yeah.
I do.
I have one. See, we have to have more than one quote on the radio.
But it's state contract. State contract, that's why
We're
they
not
use
gonna
it.
buy it on state contract.
Yes.
That's a
Okay.
state contract. No, I think he's just showing you what the
Okay.
total cost is.
It sounds like you're saying you was giving if you're gonna buy it on state contract, you don't need no quote, just buy it. All right, if you satisfied with the journey, you the director, I'm satisfied. Johnny sound like he's satisfied, so I have a motion. Second. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I call you later.
Okay, I'm ready for you.
Alright, okay.
Motion to receive this monthly report. Motion. Second. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Steve Shirt, number one.
Good morning, everyone. things I want to talk to y'all today. Report on our job fair that we conducted a couple weeks ago. We had 25 registered employees and 21 of them showed up, participated. We only had 225 job seekers attend. And talking with the guy from state, he said for some reason all of the job fairs are being attended by about half what they were last year. Part of that is because our unemployment rate is now less than 9%. It's 8.9%, whereas a couple of years ago when we started, we was up around 15 or 16% unemployment. But just not that many people look with it. But the good thing about it, of the people we had, there were 60 jobs offered that day. And that's higher than we normally have. But Mississippi Department of Correction was there, and they just treated it over, hired a bunch of people.
What is the capstone?
Okay, they're kind of hard to find. They're located on Austin Highway on Highway 49. But boy, when they were there, they had a line. They had more people there than anywhere else.
What did they do?
They rarely go, like if a factory needs cleaning up or inventory, they'll send a crew out there, and they will look at. But they have offices in places so that they can address it. They were hiring crews to be sent to other places for just temporary work, but they pay them.
But don't they put a lot of workers at Susan?
Oh yeah, yeah. Put them some work they provide.
Like temp service.
Right.
Using that.
Right. If
They like you there.
They were well represented. A lot of people wanted the job and everything. They hired a lot of people. Like that. There were 60 jobs offered that day. Capstone Logistics, LLC.
After the fair, and I know they give you a quote of how many jobs was offered, do we have how many people just actually start working for these companies when we do the job fair?
No, we don't have that number. We have a number of interviews that actually in the interview. In fact, we had 63 people get on. 60 of them were off the job. We've never had that kind of result before. But usually it works out. We just know that means off the job.
I just like to say that some of the CAP Center, we had a report from one of the instructors at the CAP Center, and they were saying that, which is a very good program, that young people need to know about, because they had a welding program out there, and they that class, every one of those young men have a job. When they finished that class and they got that steel and welding, some of them went to the coast, some of them went other places throughout the state. So that was a very learn the skill, and then you
Well, this works out too. For the Cap Center was there.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know about this Capstone Logistics.
Mm-hmm.
They got together and they're gonna start providing some of the training for their new employees. It works.
What's a new man at the capstone? Like he's got
He's still
fired up.
He's fired up. He's still good. The other thing I want to mention is the bag connection down there once again. We still got all those. I don't. They moved all the pallets that were there. The ones that were ground up, still piled up there. And we some point in time need to do something about getting rid of it. That's all.
Call DEQ to have a bonfire.
They ours now. We dealt with
we pretty much
bag connection.
Yeah. I don't know.
Got what we
I'm serious, I thought we discussed that.
We've discussed it.
I thought we said we were gonna dig a hole, call DEQ, get permission, and have a bonfire.
The DEQ denied us permission for a bonfire.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
We asked the city of Drew,
Just have
the
one
fire
there.
department, to have a fire exercise, and
DEQ said we can't do that.
Well, can we take it around
Around
dig a hole
bags
and
out
bury
there,
it.
we'll do that. And that's just, my supervisor needs to direct them folks to do that.
Dig a hole, huh?
Dig a hole, with property behind it, the county owns, you go dig and just, you would have to haul it off
You got to,
site.
you got to go around to get to it.
You have to
But
go around
could
to
dig
get
a
to
hole.
it, but it's just real short
But I
of
do.
bill.
You got a
Just
track
don't
over it?
cover it up in the dark of the night one night.
You got a track over it? Dig a hole?
I've always been in the same, you know, you get it down there and then you pray for lightning, you know, is what. But, at least, we've been doing this for like 2 years now, but.
Why are we discussing back election?
They don't have any.
They don't have any bulk lift limited now. This company does what they.
We went and looked at that building, and none of us even thought that it was even feasible to have all road cars. When we started, still up to see so we can make some money off that building. It's a company that come in, and they'll tear that building down, they'll buy all that strong steel.
Yeah, they're talking the old blue building.
I'm talking about both of them. We didn't even want to put our people in the other building either.
Why not?
Just one thing, we thought it was just one. You went and looked at it later?
Yeah. No reason, I mean, the wiring is still there, it's basically in good shape,
You go in the blue, and I didn't go in the blue.
Don't go in the blue.
The white.
Blue is-
I'm talking about the white.
The white?
You must come from the back. Well, I went to the front, and I didn't see all.
It would've cost us more money to try to invest in that building than it would for building this building.
Well, to depend on what your purpose is. I mean, for it to be a warehousing building, it serve that purpose with a minimal amount of repair on it. I think.
Do you think there would be any interest in purchasing it from the people who own the one that's just to the south of it?
They have expressed interest at one time in buying.
That's
We
Bell?
all- we, TJ Bell, and they quoted the price, and they never.
On the blue one.
But like I said, they want it
Which
cleaned
could,
up too before.
drive the other one.
Yeah, the blue one needs, I'm like, you blue one needs to be salvaged, sold, scrap iron. It's just not.
How we do that? Advertise it out?
You know, you can, I mean, we can advertise for demolition services.
In fact, I talked to a guy last week who asked would we sell, and I said, absolutely.
And he'll pay us something out of it, right?
Yeah, I said, just quote us a price for it, and we'll get back with you. A lot of people say that and they never follow through. There are a couple of companies that do that.
Basically, I think exactly what we're talking about, on the little building that was close to that.
Right. Y'all advertise that?
We advertised it, and said, if you buy it, you got to remove it within a certain amount. So, I mean, you can do that. if
That's
what
it,
you
can we,
want.
it just don't.
We need to separate off the legal description. I'm pretty sure I got all that in file somewhere, so that we're certain that what we're trying to get demolished is the blue part.
Yeah, I'd like to clean it up, however, I saw somewhere that the building was advertised for $500,000, is that what you're talking about? That blue building, on the website,
I don't know, we advertise,
not advertised, on the website.
it may be on the website, this is it for the entire,
That's for the building, all that.
that's all of it, all
that
the
stuff.
acre in both buildings. The old blue building was 40,000, white building, the metal building, and all that, it may be a price. I think when we offered it to TJ Bell, we offered them more for $1 million.
A quarter of a million?
Quarter of a million.
Quarter of a million.
$250,000 as a official bid, and they never did respond back.
I'd like to see it cleaned up and out of there, yes.
Well, you know, one big thing is getting those pallets out of the
Oh,
way.
yeah, get the balance out of there.
Who you shut it to, that'd be their problem, then.
We'll get very proud of what this is.
Think about beer, wood disintegrates when it goes in the ground, moisture, and then you're gonna have a hole there. You cover it up, it's gonna rot, and you're gonna have a big sinkhole.
Well, I mean, is that true even though you dig the dirt out and put it right here? You put your stuff in there, and then you put the dirt back, and it's gonna, it's still gonna be a sinkhole.
You know,
That's just the easiest
on
way.
the end of Wigan,
still think the
It's
40.
on the backside, it's not
Yeah,
used.
it's on the backside, it's not used, it's right at the building, it has a corner, you have the blue building, you have that new building right here, it's a corner right here, that
That's good, I'm just letting you know what it will do once it get in the ground. That's good if y'all think it's feasible.
It's like, I think the 40,000 square foot building with a minimum amount that would be marketable to some people who want it, like for warehousing or even.
If you get that little bit of detached from it.
You get the blue building detached from it, just put the wall back up, fix the doors. Mainly, it's in good shape, it's a good building, it doesn't leak very much, it's, good concrete. Well, anybody got a metal building, it's gonna leak somewhere. It's gonna drip somewhere. It may not be a leak, but it's gonna drip somewhere. But I really think it would be more marketable. One, we get rid of the pallets, and two, we get rid of that blue building. We would have a more marketable piece of property.
Well, let's start working on that as of today. So, if the board don't mind, if the board agrees to. We've been talking about it, we've been taking no action.
Right, we've been talking about it for 2 years.
I guess the only concrete action you take is when the road managers come back in and you tell them to remove the pallets.
No, I'm talking about advertising for the demolition of the.
Put that,
We'll do that too.
put that job on Rusty, I bet he can handle it.
Which one, Barry?
I bet he can get rid of it.
Okay, can I have a motion that we advertise the demolition of the patch blue building?
So moved.
Jenna will separate the description out. Have a second? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Okay, second thing we talked about the industrial park here, wanting to, get all the EPA and studies done, and what it's gonna cost and all that, and I've got two costs. It's gonna, I guess it's gonna be $35 to do it. I talked with MDA and they suggested that, they used to have a program that would help this grant pay for it. They suggested I go to the small population municipalities and counties. That name, I gotta get it right, huh?
CDBG.
No, it's not CDBG, it's just called small,
Small municipality grant.
grant, but county, we fall under that now, since we're under 30,000 population, we fall under, and there's some from, and they support through that.
Can we get that now, even if we got a CDBG grant
Yes.
going now?
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
have to finish up?
Yeah, I guess. What, for this?
That's what the board wants to do. What is
That's
this
what-
for? Resolution right here?
To help with the paying of the funds to meet with the specifications, make it a certified site or qualified site. To get the EPA studies, the environmental, the archaeology, the cultural studies, all those things we have to make that place certified when it's on that website, that they don't have to do anything, except buy it and come start work. They don't have to worry about anything.
I guess that's what I'm asking, where are we talking about? Out here?
Out there.
On the-
Yeah, we had an option on an additional 165 acres or so to expand it. We need these studies done on that, so we're ready to go. And, this is the resolution.
He has the resolution in hand.
Yeah, I don't have it typed in, just blank resolution, we always have, and I got two copies of it. But I also would like y'all to request that South Delta handle the grant request.
The deadline, we can include those in the package, so the board members will be looking at them before they get here. And that'll be Wednesday, 12 o'clock, before the board meets that Monday.
Anybody have any more discussions on this?
It's blank, you
This
don't
is-
fill it in for as much as you think you can get.
Well, no, it's gonna be it'll be a 25% match, I think, what these.
What I'm saying is, they got a match, but I don't see how much is.
And I've already got the match taken care of.
10% match.
10% match. 10% match, whatever the match is, as long as it doesn't go 50%, we've got enough money to get the source match.
Long, would you give me the same thing he did?
I don't know, but I gave you two resolutions and.
Resolution.
Same thing. Same thing. Okay. This is one that, Allison just gave me this morning. So I'll decide on what y'all want to do.
There is a great need of our industrial site. A few times we've had, some lookers and some potentials, but, I mean, we just didn't have what it took. One time we needed a gas line or something like, Steve.
gas line.
And what this would do would help, bring us up a part.
It's not gonna cost us anything. I've got outside matching money that's gonna match for us. It's not gonna cost us anything.
But it is important.
Other than to apply for the grant.
Jay, you want to put both resolutions in the same motion or do them separate?
Well, I mean, you can do them all in the same, because I'm just gonna go up a little simple one that's here. And then we put them all behind. Unless you think that you need them any other way? You just need more to.
You're gonna have to put those in, yeah, if you do that and attach the resolutions, fine. Got two resolutions. One is the small municipality resolution, and two is the matching resolution. One back.
Have a motion.
Second.
Proper moving second, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Now, at least one of these,
Now, we got to do a resolution, we got to South Delta to administer the grant.
one of these has got places where everybody has to say.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I thought said something about.
They're all the same down there. They're all printed off the same website.
And but one of them had 50,000 for environmental studies, and one of them had applying, to enhance the development.
I mean, I don't know what Tommy gave you. I know what I gave you.
That's what you get.
Mine number
I was estimating it was $50,000 what it's gonna cost. You want the cost?
Oh, I got you. That's the only difference. You just feel.
Yeah, I feel. It's gonna be 42,000.
Okay, all right. Then it's all the same.
But it's gonna be more than 42,000 because you have some engineering and all that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe.
It's one. Put it in 55. It's double.
Okay. The building, and then you've got the resolution that says you will provide dollar mark blank for the matching funds. That's 10%.
Steve's gonna have to give you that money and then.
The matching fund is covered. The CDL, Sunflower County, pays 10,000. Sunflower County adopted, they would pay $10,000.
They would pay the
They would pay $10,000. Because I'm also gonna hit up the industrial board to see if they contribute some of their money to it, they might.
I think, industrial board, it happened a while back when we met on it. If you want somebody, we need to have something to look at. You need to say, hey, build this place. This is going to come and bring jobs in if you don't have nowhere for them to locate.
Everybody, like I said, 17 acres that we had out there, that's plenty for most companies to build, but no company ever wants to, they always think they're gonna grow. Yeah, and so they want 10, 15, 30 acres so they can grow and get big. I mean, that's what they want to do. And they may never need it, most of them don't, but they want it there. So.
I have a motion that we allow South Delta to amend this grant. Motion by Mr. Clark. Second by Mr. Rice, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
I have one other little piece
session for it. Session. I'm doing real short. It'll be real short.
No, I'm saying, can you come back and
Come
do it
back in
30
30 minutes. I do whatever y'all tell me to do.
I don't want, you got everybody in line.
Your signature's on my paycheck. I'll do whatever you tell me.
Mr. Shirley, Sheila had asked me to do this budget amendment. I'm like, if you had it or not. It's number 12 in your package.
On the
Right.
bill.
Yes, sir.
I'll probably come on and go to the next time.
So move, have a motion. Motion by Mr. Holmes, second by Ms. Dixon. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Aye. Okay,
You want to pause?
Dr. Rouse.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah. I'm good. Thank you.
Back in the fall, when I appeared before the board to solicit funds to support the construction of the Faneuil Hale Cancer Foundation roof. And the board adopted or passed whatever to give us $25,000 for construction. At that meeting, the legislation allowing boards to donate to private nonprofits, and thought it would be better if we had the legislation to clarify that. In the past session of the legislature, Ms. Sarah Collins, representative from the, had passed, introduced and had passed a local and private bill, House Bill 1690, and her copy, that authorizes the Sunflower County Board to contribute $25,000 to us. I shared that with Mr. Williams, they say that's the legality. We need, I guess, a new approval of the $25,000 contribution.
You know, the only thing that I don't know, I don't know whether, because, is whether the last board actually budgeted the $25,000. They definitely told Dr. Rouser
Now, I can't remember if we met in
that we would
September,
do it if we got the legal authority to do it, but I don't know whether they actually budgeted. Do you remember? It's not in the budget.
No, it's not in the budget right now to cut a check out today, but we do have a board order that said that we would do it. But we had to make, it was.
because it was, I think we came in September.
Yeah.
And so that was the
Budget was
end of
already
the fiscal
adopted.
year.
Yeah.
And that budget, the new budget year started October 1.
We said that we would do it if the state would allow us to legally do it, but we had an order on for that. And so all we need to do now is just,
We don't need the check today.
No, that's on next year's budget or what?
it will.
Start next year.
The one starting this October.
We just, leave it
Yeah,
out.
and that's fine. I mean, we're still in the process of completing our EDA application. And we're doing a national campaign to raise money.
motion that we would carry out appropriation to the Family Homeless Council Foundation.
But it's for next year's budget, we're not working. All the same, we'll do budget for next.
Yeah, but that's part of the budget. I think we should do it with the big budget. You have to appropriate the money, right? So why do we need it?
I would put the order in place, Mr. Rice, so that you can do it then. Instead of waiting to slip through the cracks. So I put the order and do it, cause it's nothing that you never done before. So special appropriation, new legislation, and this board needs to say, hey, let's do it. I'm not asking on money today, but we just say that we'll do it, so when we start.
Like, what the only thing I'm concerned about is that we have other considerations too. We need to consider other things too, but this is part of the budget. Why not do it when we do the budget? That's what I'm saying.
So like consistent, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Let me say one thing, and then I don't think I can all discuss. I put it in your orders. Every time that you have a budget, there's a whole lot of stuff gets discussed, y'all know, I mean, y'all talk about it, and that's just talk. But I put in those orders that if a definite decision is made about any particular thing, then it will be clarified in a separate order. Y'all have done that in the past, where you know you're going, okay, we've already all decided, let's just use them for example, we decided that we're gonna give them $25,000. And I put an order in there that says that shall be included in, I guess that's what y'all are talking about here.
But who decided it? You know, that was the other board decided that, right?
I'm saying
That's what
you,
I'm saying.
it's your decision now.
That's what I'm saying.
You
That's
have
what
the
I'm
right.
saying is I'm not against it. I'm trying to be consistent in what we do. That's the only thing I'm saying, you know. Because there's a lot of things that we are doing, you know, that we're not being consistent with. See, now I'm for, you know, the
Asking for an order that this board, that was the last board.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can't operate off that. I'm saying this board, so you, if this board agree, put a board on that we'll give the $25,000. When we do our work session, okay, then you can add it. You can give up to $25,000.
You
can add
have
it.
already agreed that you're gonna put it in.
It'll be different from the other budget requests that we got tonight.
Yeah, cause this is special appropriation.
That's what I'm saying.
We handle it differently.
Some of them, if you decide, okay, we're gonna do this, then I'll make a separate order. Until y'all decide.
Can I have a motion that we will give Family Homeless Council Foundation, Louisville, Mississippi, $25,000. Motion. Properly moved by Mr. Clark, can I have a second? Properly moved.
Second motion, we talked about this for 3 or 4.
Second by Mr. Holmes, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
We thank you very much. I show up, but we're doing a national campaign. And if you all would take one of these and take it to your church or some business that would collectively want to make a contribution to support us. Thank you, Doug. We are.
Dr. Ralph asked me to also share. I would also like to share with y'all too, for the last 7 days, we have some people down here from New York that's doing a documentary on the Family Homeless Council Foundation called Healing the Mississippi Delta. They've been with here for us for the last 7 days. They're coming back in October to do part 2. It'll be a documentary that'll be done. And Senator Billy Chestnut from Winona has also agreed to get the documentary so it can be put on PBS here in Mississippi as well.
very dear for us.
It's a documentary on the legacy of Fannie Lou Hamer and the foundation and how we got connected to her and what we're trying to do in her memory and honor. And, you know, generally these people show up with a camera, they came with a I mean, they have the lights and the whole night.
They're
2.5
professional.
hours, like, you know, God, look, do I have to swear too? No. But I mean, really an in-depth interview. Of course, they're gonna have to edit all that stuff and come up with a documentary. And they traveled, around the Delta, to different locations, and also to our site. And we're really happy about that.
Well,
Okay,
the
we
more
thank
publicity
you
you
very
get,
much.
the better your chance for getting some big donations from
Oh,
people
yeah, you know, and,
all over the country.
You know, we hope that Mr. Simmons and Ms. Chasino will help us get another bond issue passed by the next legislative session, the way the money is right now. I don't know. But, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't
ask, you don't get.
I'm glad we finally got to the point where the legal question is over about this, about Sunflower County's participation.
Appreciate it. All right, we thank you all.
Thank
You
y'all
got
so
a full
much.
agenda.
Before you all go, I want everybody to know that I agreed to giving $25,000 to the Fannie Lou Hamer Foundation because on December 4th, 2010, my wife died from cancer. So I don't mean that I'm not in agreement, but I'm 100%. That's right. Always.
Number 15, Dr. Alfonso Sanders, Mississippi Valley State University, and B.B. King.
Good morning, everybody. Well, the reason I'm here is because there's a significant amount of time spent here in Indianola with the type of project that this is, and specifically that this particular B.B. King Day is in partnership with the B.B. King Museum. It's a dual thing between Mississippi Valley State and the B.B. King Report, which B.B. graciously allowed us to bear his name. And over time, of course, we developed educational tracks that are proven to be somewhat successful. And I'm prefacing my conversation with the idea that if we look around in the Delta area, specifically in the Delta, limited resources for musicians. Many of the things that we're looking at in the school systems, because of the way the state is wired, there are a lot of deficiencies. And so what we started to try to do was attract a more modern consciousness so that students will see, and the same students, I'm talking about students from grade school on up through high school and college, that they'll start to see that there is actually some significance in becoming educated in the field of music studies. And so because the school systems are only offering at large, when they used to be the driving force behind the state of Mississippi, where we were turning out the most music educators in the state of Mississippi. And that is a result of Mississippi Valley State University. Well, over time, that has started to diminish, and now we're at a point where it's very difficult those type of educators again, and the better ones are leaving the state. So when B.B. King died, we took the initiative to do a resolution and say that the university would do a B.B. King Day, an annual B.B. King Day. But what I had already started with the B.B. King Museum, which was called the First Thursday event, to try to promote music within this city. At least once a month, they could market it and say, well, we know for sure there will be music in
this is apart from the idea that you would have the other venues offering music on the weekends and so forth. But it would be a safe place, you know, parents can come, children can come in, it's open to the public. And so now that we have the annual B.B. King Day, we said to do September as B.B. King's birth month and to make it in connection with the which has of course become quite successful. You know, it's going to be different about B.B. King Day as opposed to most days that we hold that will say we're holding a festival in Mississippi. We all know that tourism is big in the state, and blues is a big part of the tourist attraction for the state. This past event when B.B. died on September 3rd, we had an average of 400 plus people who were involved in the first inaugural one, and many of them, of course, were in Indianola. If you didn't attend the event that evening, we had a panel discussion throughout the day, starting at 9 o'clock at Mississippi Valley State, that had people on it for the first time in the history. These people were together. People like Bobby Rush, Otis Clay, who unfortunately Otis died shortly after his visit. These were BB's contemporaries, Denise LaSalle, Big George Breyer. I could name lots of people. It was more like a real energetic moment of musicians, who saw it as a part of them being attached to the legacy of B.B. King's history. But what we did is we recorded all of that information, both audio and video recordings. We submitted documentation to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington to history of the consciousness of what that history of the blues really signifies, for the state. Because the Blues Trail markers are there, and people are coming in from all walks of life to do the trail and to create like a study of a sort for them. But to have a university attached to this development, it only ensures that the educational portion of it becomes more important to the Delta. And so that's why B.B. King Day is very significant to me as a musician and as an educator myself, because I know it's going to continue to move us forward. Without education, I don't care what you say, but without education, stuff is going to fall down. So the more educated the community is, the more educated people are when they come into the state of Mississippi, and especially into the Delta, when there are a lot of, kind of obscure things that people bring in their minds when they come here. So we try to eliminate that through a total consciousness of what B.B. King Day will bring, from an educational standpoint. And so I would look at this, and I'll make a note just because I'm going to give you, but I'm going to go down to the section soundness of the plan of work and project design. Well, B.B. King Day Symposium will straightforwardly present Mississippi blues history through living musicians influenced by the life and music of the Delta legend B.B. King. The awareness of blues history has presented Mississippi with a positive cornerstone for its Southern history and identity. The annual helped to draw attention to the legacy of the Delta blues and discussion through educational panels. Students and budding musicians within the community will have an opportunity to perform with noted professional musicians whose and inspiration is to pass on their legacy. The day will be highlighted with archival pieces, through the recording studio, and the symposium panels, they will be consisting of people that we know, like this year's panel, even though we started last year's thing with directly people who traveled the Chitlin circuit, people who were involved in developing the consciousness of the blues for all those years, rewarded for it, but now, of course, that's starting to become a consciousness. I work closely with the Mississippi Blues, who is giving lots back by doing medical, like medical aid, for many of the older blues musicians. We do everything from dental services to, illnesses that we can contribute to, like to help them with their, with their medical expenses when needed. So that's a big part of it. We had that part of it. We did. This particular time, we're looking at the influence of the blues on the development of jazz history, and there's so many unsung heroes in Mississippi who are attached to that legacy until I thought it means, for that. Indianola, of course, is benefiting greatly because the people are housed here themselves. Other part of it is that we've been striving for a while to make the interpretive center for the B.B. King Museum become more of a reality where it's a program that's in place. And now is how do we get instrumentalists involved? How do we get pianists and guitarists and drummers and horn players to reach out and say that we help them craft these, these. Granted, I'm doing workshops and little small things throughout the state. Indianola being a part. We do have more B.B. Kings around, in Delta. Well, if you don't do something about it, even if these students have that potential, it'll be just like taking a course away and never discovering Michael Jordan. And that's where we are with Delta, is how do we put this in place and keep something happening. And so that's what we're doing with that. The collaboration, of course, is spelled out in here with Heritage Area, receiving from them. Sodexo, which is working for Mississippi Delta Community College. We have the visual artists who are involved. The Blue Biscuit is highly in this document. The budget that we have so far is above $33,000. It doesn't take a lot, and the reason for that. The people we're calling right now are people who say they're committed to helping. For hiring the professional musicians, they want to come because they say it's important to them too, to continue the legacy of B.B. King. So that's why what we need from the Board of Supervisors here is some type of annual commitment that we can have as a part of our annual budget as a foundation and a part of resources that people are understanding this and committed to it. And so hard money as we apply for matching grants. And when we can show signs that the community is involved, it's easier to get the matching grants. At this point, we only have we have a $25,000 matching grant that we're hoping that's going to come through. We have people who are like donors. We have people who are giving. Many people are giving things that we have to turn around and turn it into hard money because they say, well, we want to, we'll give this. Maybe like the Budweiser company, a small portion of hard money, and then they'll say, well, we'll give you this to see if we can turn it into, into cash. And so that part, of course, is a work, in progress in itself. So I don't know what you'll be able to do this first time around, but in this proposal, as you read it, I'm hoping you'll consider, what it means to Indianola in the process. And, of course, if you have any questions, I'm not gonna take any more time. If you have any questions about, the project itself, of course, my information is on here along with, Field. She works as an assistant. Through this, this quickly. All of these were stickers that were passed around throughout the Delta as a B.B. King Day sticker, to keep to craft save the date cards to as many businesses and places as we could. I don't know if you guys received them. This is a part of the program. And since it began, you'll see that little kid on there. This became a very popular picture. And BB, of course, loved it. But yeah, I'm gonna pass these around. And this is like a picture book for the whole thing. But here's another one. And here, you can put that down there. And so, if we're not, if you're not able, we need money now. And I don't know what you'd be able to contribute, but I am asking for an annual, at least a look at an annual possibility, so that we're not struggling so much with it. And so we do have, a few other, like I said, other things involved. Believe it or not, because I'm so attached to the B.B. King Museum, it's more difficult for me to work out of Greenwood, even though Greenwood sits closer to the university. But then you guys have the icon, and because BB gave us the name for the recording studio, and we've been in partnership to make that grow, to make it happen. And so we won't see the fruits of it immediately because they're just now starting to show signs that Indianola, I guess, is a part of the musical growth. But I can tell you now, there's a student we graduated, Jimmy Lee Jr., who by far has been, Jimmy.
Everybody knows
Yeah,
Jimmy.
because Jimmy was a student of mine in high school, and he followed me, to Valley State, and of course that's where and now he's working for the university with me again in the capacity to do the management side of the B.B. King Recording Studio. But by far, no matter where we've gone together, where I've taken him, he gets the attention of everybody. And that's because his skill level is extremely high. He's a gifted musician. But many people in Indianola might not know him if they don't know his church background, because he plays in church. But now he's playing more and more, and he's starting to get more recognition for what he's doing. But he's an incredible musician. And I can say that, because I would like to be like him one day, because that's all happens. Yeah, Jimmy Lee Jr.
Play with MDCC band also.
Yeah, he came through MDCC. So he's a product of the Delta, and more importantly, he's a product of Indianola, Mississippi. And of course, he's helping, to do quite a bit to ensure that projects like these.
Telling people who were here just before you, this board has a limitation on what they can donate public. They can just give public tax people and give the money away because we like it. But I was noticing, that's why I asked you for that sponsorship. We have a lot of categories that include advertising, and this board is authorized to spend monies on advertising the civic, cultural aspects of our area, especially in light of. So there is, I'm not that there is an avenue for them to be involved with this.
Well, if that part takes place, well, you can, like I say, I don't have two copies of this, but we can pass them down and put them in your files. But what if that is the case, what we will need, which becomes significant for matching grants anyway, If there's any type of giving from any institution, any source of funding, then we use that to put into the matching grant area, and it still helps, you know, for us to continue to obtain the grants, you know. So it's important. I mean, everything that you'll be able to do is going to be highly important. So I'm not limited to whatever, because I really don't know how to ask for this with the board, because I'm not sure, like he just mentioned, I'm not sure what the ramifications are or not.
We have a session, we work on regular. I appreciate you
No,
and
it's
telling
good.
and coming to the board and telling. I've learned a lot from you saying that.
Well, you know, that speaks basically of what we're doing.
I just like to say that, being an educator for 35 years, we have taken so much out of the schools, and we need to put things back into the schools, to keep, young people involved. That's the reason why young people, because the word is, our mind is a devil workshop. And that's what has happened to young people. We have taken so much, we've taken the fun out of school. Now, all they people want to do is just put a book before your face and say, read, you know. See, I mean, we got to get away from that. If you can read music, you know, they taught me when I was in school and when I was working, everybody is a teacher reading. Even the music teacher can teach reading. Because everybody just don't want to read about history. Everybody's not going to be a scientist. A mathematician. So you got to promote this in the school. That's what I'm saying. But I'm all for it. And anything that we can do, if we have to take it to the legislature, just like we done the Fannie Lou Hamer Foundation, take it to the legislature and see what we can donate.
Well, there's a lot of evidence out there, because people are getting private resources to get their children educated, and some people can't afford that. The public schools have let that part, you know, die. But the arts are important. And how it's important. Well, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you so much, Sheriff.
Right.
All right.
You have, like I said, you have all the content. Know, what the outcome will be, so I can, have that as a history and see where it stands, and then, thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you, Ms. Whitfield.